Hey, in the immortal words of Judy Brown, happiness is a choice. We're happy you're spending some time with us, Chip and Zay, on an overreaction Monday. Zay getting his camera just right for you. And what a weekend, tons to get into. Obviously, we have a college football playoff field. Texas is not in it. That was not a surprise, but I got to admit, I'm not overly excited about this college football playoff field. I don't feel like I'm getting. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm getting much bang for my buck here. I'm getting an Ole Miss team without a coach. I'm getting an A&M team that just lost to Texas. I'm getting an OU team that lost to Texas. I'm getting a very interesting Indiana team, I got to say. And a Georgia team that looks like it is playing some good football. Georgia looks like a team that should be in the national championship game to me. What do you think, my man?
Well, first off, happy Monday, everybody. Feeling good, feeling great. Chip, how are you? You're not good, as you just mentioned. You're not happy with the field, college football playoffs, and I'm right there with you, buddy. I mean, James Madison, Tulane, what are we doing there? TNT has both of those games, so I feel really bad for those guys because that's a rough go. And yeah, like Alabama, they're limping in to Norman. We know that offense for OU has been suspect lately. It was a dud 1-2 matchup in the Big Ten championship game where Ohio State, they might have a serious issue because their coach, USF, they're posting a whole bunch of Brian Hartline stuff. He's out here giving early team speeches. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it looks like he's already looking forward to what's next because he was calling plays for Ohio State and that offense. Again, Indiana, got to give them their credit. Kirk Cignetti, coach of the year, easy. By far, Fernando Mendoza is going to take the Heisman. It's crazy how now when you think of Indiana, you just don't think of those Bob Knight days. Indiana football is relevant. But yeah, that was a very ugly game where those teams, hell, the weekend Chip, I'd look at Tech as that team like, man, be careful, because Tech, they might have the defense to put it on Fernando Mendoza if they get there. But yeah, this college football playoff, the committee, the only thing I can look at that's positive is fake hairline Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame are in it. And man, it's trash that they're not playing in their bowl game. Like, how weak are they? Like, that's why I hate Notre Dame. Stuff like that. Like, oh, you're too good. You're too good to play in a bowl game. You're already not in a freaking conference. So just screw your seniors, right? Screw all the guys that might want to put up more film to help their draft stock. Screw all that because we're Notre Dame, man. When we don't get what we want, we take our ball and go home. Boo freaking who. Good. I want people to see Notre Dame's true colors. This is how they are. They're entitled. I don't give a damn who made the decision. Whoever it did is weak as hell. And kudos to Steve Sarkisian for playing the game. I've seen some Texas fans say, they shouldn't play the game. If they do play the game, don't play Arch Manning. No, this is the last time these guys, whoever suits up, I see Ant Hill, he's declaring for the draft. I doubt he suits up. I get that. I completely understand that. But if you're going to be back next year and you're not in that transfer portal, or if you have more film that you want to put out, the Mookie Taffs of the world, you know, this game, it's still important playing in the Cheez-It Bowl. So, yeah, yesterday sucked, but I appreciate Steve Sarkisian, even though things didn't go their way, And whoever else is a part of making those decisions on playing in the Cheez-It Bowl said, you know what? We still have a job to do. We're going to build on that. And hopefully you can ride that momentum into 2026.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obviously the breaking news that we need to get to is Anthony Hill. It's not a surprise, but Anthony Hill Jr., who was the leading tackler when he went down with that metacarpal fracture in the Georgia game. Moving on, and this is we're getting all kinds of news today. It's going to be a kind of a crazy show because they're doing exit interviews. Guys are announcing they're going into the portal. Guys are announcing they're, turning pro. So, we know Trey Owens is going into the portal. Melvin Hills is going into the portal. Who else? There's
CJ
more.
Baxter.
CJ Baxter, going to look for a fresh start. And, that's it. Sometimes that's what's needed. You hate it for CJ Baxter. He came to Texas, had a great camp. His freshman year was the starter going into the season, even though I couldn't believe that over Jonathan Brooks. Had some injury issues, obviously didn't play at all in 24. And then, this season he has the hamstring injury that kind of delays his return. And so, CJ Baxter is going to look for a fresh start, a new situation. And, I talked to someone close to CJ who said, we'll wait and see where the coaching carousel shakes out before making any quick decisions. And you hope for the best for him. He had found a great girlfriend in Mia Scott. She won a national championship for Texas softball. Poked fun at him, for winning a softball national title with one ACL. I think the running back position's probably a little different from playing third base, but hey, CJ's a good guy. You hope the best for him. And so, keep your head on a swivel, Texas fans, because the news is coming fast and furious, Zay.
Yeah, not everybody, it just doesn't work for everybody. No matter if you're a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, no star. And it hurts because it's not like he didn't buy in. It's not like he wasn't one of the leaders of this team. Like, he was a guy that represented what Steve Sarkisian was trying to bring to this culture. And he just never was able to figure it out. And his freshman year, that showed the most promise. But then the injuries, they just started happening. And then the sophomore year misses the whole season. And this year, the offensive line, they didn't do him any favors. I'm sure Tashard Choice was a huge reason why he came from Florida to Texas. Now your running backs coach moves on to the Detroit Lions. And I'm sure Chad Scott's a nice guy, but you're CJ Baxter. This isn't who I signed up to work with. You believe in it, but we don't know what happened. So, this one hurts. This one hurts a little bit just because, you thought he'd be a Longhorn for life. And you thought you'd be able to see him show those 5-star flashes. And you thought that was going to happen this year. The way that Steve Sarkisian was bigging him up on, man, CJ looks great in camp. I was going to, kind of ease the process of him getting back ready. And Sark talked about accelerating the process because how good CJ looked. And then he got the hamstring injury to what you said, Chip, and that really sent him back. And he just couldn't get on the field. And plus, the offensive line was just so bad that what can you do with that?
That's the other thing, is that Someone asked me today, in a chat over on Horns 24/7, do you blame the coaching or the players more for the 9-3 season? And I just said, I think probably the most frustrating part of this season was the coaching staff taking until the 9th game to figure out the best combination on the offensive line, because that affected Arch Manning's development. It affected the running backs. If Arch can't be protected, it affects the receivers and the tight ends and their ability to get the ball. And remember, Sark was still running vertical routes deep down the field against Florida. Even as Arch is getting just creamed in that game, he didn't really adjust it to a quick passing game until Oklahoma, and it worked. And then you're like, okay, where was this? So, I would say the most frustrating part of the season was on the coaches, and it affected everything. And so it's, that's tough. That's tough because, as you like to say, Steven was getting paid $11 million this year. So you were hoping for the best possible coaching for that kind of money, and it didn't happen the way a lot of us thought it was going to happen. We knew there was going to be time needed for Arch to settle in, for development, comfort, ability between the quarterback and receivers, the growth and chemistry on the offensive line, but you didn't think it would take 9 games. So, and it cost Texas. It cost them. It cost them a chance to play in the college football playoff when they were, I think, playing easily their best football in the A&M game. And if that game was any indication, they're one of the 12 best teams in the country. I know it doesn't work like that because you have to give 5 spots to the, highest ranked conference champions. So it's really only 7 spots, but I would have put them in ahead of OU, Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami. And so, yeah, the committee's taken it in the chops because
they're liars.
Yeah, because on Tuesday, when you're really basically setting the field, barring any craziness, they had Notre Dame in, Miami out, and then, they said it took BYU getting beaten for a second time for Miami and Notre Dame to finally be next to each other.
What does that mean?
Really?
Why are they just making up stuff on the fly? That's what's weird to me. Like, they're making up stuff on the fly because that's irrelevant, in my opinion. What was the head-to-head with Notre Dame and Miami? It was Miami beating Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a weak-ass schedule. They got the same record. BYU has nothing to do with it, in my opinion. Like, okay, you put BYU, if they win, over Notre Dame and Miami. Cool. But it doesn't mean Notre Dame should be in front of Miami ever. That never should have been a thing. All them Tuesday shows that you had on the 4-letter network, and somehow it popped up with Notre Dame being in front of Miami. Those things just never should have happened. And then now they're trying to tell us all this stuff. It's bogus, man. It's just a bogus system. And they got to figure out, or just go straight to 16. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a joke. It's a joke. They're going by just wins and losses. Say that straight up. Don't give us all this, head-to-head schedule and, Striffer's schedule. No, you're looking at the wins and the losses. Striffer's schedule doesn't matter, clearly. Head-to-heads doesn't matter, clearly. To your point, Chip, Texas beat Oklahoma. Texas beat A&M. Okay, yeah, they got 9 wins. Like, feel like the committee should just straight up say you can't get in without double-digit wins. Then they try to go, Texas lost to Florida. Then why are y'all telling us these other things? Like, y'all should just say it doesn't matter what the Striffer schedule is. You could play some of the worst teams ever. If you lose one game, you're still in. If you lose two, you win 10, and you have a decent enough logo where you could bring in some Skrilla, you might be still in. Like, just tell us that. But they don't. Like, they don't want to, they don't want to admit to how bad of a job they did. And it sucks. Like, Duke beating Virginia, man. Like, come on. Come on. That itself, I would have told Mario Cristobal, dude, y'all just let an 8-5 team win the conference. We can't put y'all in. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care how many guys y'all got. We can't put y'all in. This is one of the worst seasons in ACC history, and y'all don't win it. Yet they're in the playoffs. Like, that's one of those, we just got to put an ACC team in. And that was Miami. Like, I don't think you do. I get it. You have to put in James Madison. You got to put in Tulane, or you get sued, whatever. But come on, Duke. Freaking Duke, 5 wins or 5 losses, a 5-loss team wins the conference. And then some nerve, Manny Diaz. Some nerve, him trying to fight for his team. No, Manny. Hell no. I think every team, ACC winner, should always get in, Manny. Come on, bro. That was the most bogus thing I saw all Saturday night. That fool was running on, and he has to do that, but even then, it was much. I'm sure the folks in the media were looking at Manny like, Manny, come on now. Ride this high. This is a good look. You won the ACC championship going 8-5, but no, absolutely not. Ain't no way Manny Diaz should even had a chance to say that. But that's where we are, Chip.
Hey, Manny Diaz has
messed it up.
He has one fewer conference championships than my man Mac Brown in their career. So, hey, good for Manny, but yeah, the ACC, woo. Yeah, and the committee's going to say one thing, and who knows if they're telling us the truth. It sure looks like they were trying to offer up a little something to the ACC, but you got to honor head-to-head, man. I mean, look at how far Alabama dropped 1 spot for losing by 3 touchdowns to Georgia on a neutral field. I know Atlanta is not neutral, but still, Alabama had 20,000 fans in the building.
Yeah, Tuscaloosa, that's like a 4-hour drive. That ain't nothing. I'm not trying to hear that.
Right. So Texas loses by 25 to Georgia, drops 7 spots, drops completely out of the mix. And then when they beat at that time, the highest ranked win in college football, they went up 3 and were left out of the mix. So, yeah, I see some of the comments saying, that Texas was never. Yeah, I mean, they eliminated Texas when they dropped them 7 spots after the loss to Georgia and didn't bounce them back up for beating A&M and looking better than they have all season. Like, if you're watching the games, did Texas perform well enough against Texas A&M to make their head-to-heads with A&M and at least Oklahoma come into play? Because at that point, you got a 2-loss SEC Oklahoma and a 2-loss SEC Texas, and Texas has the head-to-head. No. Now Oklahoma's hosting a playoff game against Alabama. So,
Bama looked awful. Bama looked awful.
Yeah, and, I get it. Kalen DeBoer's like, we got 10 guys injured. Okay. Well, then, I don't know what to tell you. Your team looks like garbage. So I guess the injuries just caught up. My Lions had, 15 injuries last year, and they went 15-2 and got bounced by the freaking Commanders in the first round of the playoff. That's So what you're telling me is your team is garbage because you have 10 guys injured, and how many of those guys are going to be back? I don't know. All of them? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Alabama's going to be a brand new team come 2 weeks from now, but that it was a weird year. It was a weird.
Like the whole thing with Bama too, they're trying to justify that these conference games matter, which, okay, whatever, put Bama in because they matter. But
and I've been saying since 2015, get rid of the conference championships. Get rid of go back to playing. You could go back to playing 10 regular season games. Okay. If we're going to go to a 16 team playoff, I said, get rid of one of these non-conference games that don't mean anything. Go back to 11 regular season games and get rid of the conference championship games. And that way, if you've got the regular season determines the champion. And if you've got a tie, well, then we can incorporate that, somehow into the playoff, or however, the conference wants to decide it, tiebreakers, whatever. But get rid of those conference championship games because they become more punitive than they do a reward. And there was a time when not every conference had a conference championship game. That was a made-for-television event. Well, guess what? Now we have a 12-team playoff. We don't need made-for-television conference championship games. It becomes horrendous for, the fans trying to pick what game they're going to go to. Remember last year, Texas goes to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, comes home for a home playoff game, goes back to Atlanta for the Peach Bowl, then goes to Dallas for the semifinal. And fans were going broke trying to get to all those games, I mean, it's crying from a yacht, but still the conference championship games have become a nuisance more than they've become, something to celebrate, because everyone's focused on the playoff, and look, good for Kirby Smart for saying we'll always be about winning the conference championship. Steve Sarkisian has said the same thing, and let that be the winner of the regular season. That should always be the case. So,
yeah. Like if you're Oregon, you were chilling watching Indiana and Ohio State beat the hell out of each other. Then you got James Madison coming to Eugene. Oh man, Oregon's in the best spot in the whole playoff.
A&M.
And then,
chilling.
They are chilling, but Miami coming in, and the fact that that's not a night game, A&M wishes that was at night. Oh, they did them wrong on that one. They were one at that game at Kyle Field that night. That sucker's at noon. At least the hate watching is going to be fun. As a Texas fan, the hate watching is going to be fun because Ruben Bain and them boys. And I also don't understand Robert Griffin III. He put out a tweet saying Marcel Reed on their show declared that he's coming back. No shit. What are we talking about? What? We knew Marcel Reed was coming back. He ain't that good. What you mean? Marcel Reed coming back. We breaking it here. Robert Griffin III show. Like, yeah, duh. Like, that guy has a lot to work on. For real. Because when KC Concepcion and Mario Craver go to the NFL next year, they better bring in guys like that. Because I saw a lot of A&M games this year. And there was a lot of dinking and dunking around, and Craver would take that dink and dunk 10-yard catch and take that thing 80 yards up the field, and Concepcion would take a bubble screen and take that thing to the crib too. So Marcel Reed, as Texas and Pete Kwiatkowski exposed him, he got a lot to work on. So I don't understand that. But Miami, who's been chilling, same thing. Watching Duke and Virginia beat each other's heads in, chilling. We getting back to basics and free Mario Cristobal. We get back to some old school fundamental stuff to get locked in before they head to College Station. But yeah, like Ole Miss, for what everything Ole Miss has gone through, they need a easy game like this. You know what I'm saying? They need one where they can feel good about themselves, beat the hell out of Tulane, and then move on and face Georgia. But yeah, it's just we got to do better. College football playoff, the game's too important. The game's just too exciting for it to get mucked up like this. And
you know what?
I don't like conference games either anymore. Like, I thought Texas playing in the conference game last year, all it did was make them even more fatigued than they were going into it. And we saw it catch up with them when they played at the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State, where Ohio State, who watched last year's Oregon versus whoever the hell they played, Michigan matchup, I think, and won it all.
Yeah. And, you know, I love Marcus Freeman. Like, here's the thing about Notre Dame. I do think they were playing good football. Their schedule did them no favors. And that's where everyone's like, join a conference. You know, you're going to be guaranteed, especially if you join a legit one. You know, you join the Big Ten. They're not going to join the SEC, but you join the Big Ten.
ACC, you know where they're going.
Yeah, or the ACC. I mean, they have valued their independence dating back to the 40s, and the realignment of 2010 was all because Notre Dame. Well, it was all because Notre Dame was leaking oil at that time. Had Charlie Weiss as the coach. Notre Dame looked weak, and then commissioner of the Big Ten, Delaney, said, we're exploring expansion. And he did that to see if he could get Notre Dame. And what people don't understand is Notre Dame is so fiercely protective of their independence. I almost think they'd rather die than join a conference. So they sort of aligned with the ACC to give them some schedule, but the ACC was terrible this year. And Notre Dame didn't have the wins to back up the fact that they're beating the crap out of teams like Arkansas and Pitt. And that's the way it goes. You lined up against Miami and you didn't get it done. You lined up against A&M. You didn't get it done. Your holder dropped the snap. So, that's the way it goes. I mean, I could argue Notre Dame deserved to be in, but just eyeball test. And too bad, so sad. You're getting judged on the criteria just like everyone else, although the criteria seems to be a moving target.
Yeah, they just making up stuff.
So,
if Marcus Freeman just went bald, they would have been in. Okay, it's the hair, Chip. You love him. I like him as a football guy, football mind, one of the best in the business. The brother's doing this thing. You can't trust the fake hairline. I would feel great if the committee said, you know what? Notre Dame's playing good. If Marcus Freeman cut his hair, we put him in. They be playing postseason football, but yeah, and just I don't know what their bowl game would have been. I really don't understand the logic of not playing. They're trying to stick it to the committee, I guess. Whatever, but it shows weakness to me. It shows entitlement to me that we already know you have. Like, we already know that's the thing. That's why people can't stand Notre Dame. Because just join the conference. What are you running from? What are you scared of? Like, last year you lost to Northern Illinois and end up in the championship game.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta come on. They needed this. They needed.
You need to be careful, because if Sarkisian would have gone to the NFL, I'd have been clanging pots and pans for Texas to go hire Marcus Freeman.
Oh, geez.
And you don't want your whole radio every take on Marcus Freeman to be his hairline, for God's sake.
Oh man, I ain't worried about that.
You ever talk to that guy? He's a good dude.
Seems like a sweet man.
It's a good dude.
Seems like a sweet man.
I mean, not everyone has great hair. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I appreciate that. Now, hey, but I'm just saying, see, Black community, they get what I'm saying.
Oh.
I understand you not agreeing. I understand that. That's fine. That is fine. The Black community, they know what I'm talking about. They know what I'm talking about. They know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm just joking. Come on now. Let's be real.
Okay, what'd you think of the Indiana Ohio State game?
I think Julian Sands finally showing that he could get got. And I really think the Brian Hartline thing, that's scary for them. Like, not everybody is like Nick Saban and can just get rid of Lane Kiffin when it's postseason time and has Steve Sarkisian as a backup. He coached in that game, Brian Hartline. How locked in is he? You're going to believe that he is. You're going to believe that he's your best shot. But again, Chip, I saw what UCF put out today for their social media account where they videotaped him giving his introduction speech to the team. That don't look like a guy that's locked into Ohio State. That looks like a guy that's ready for his head coaching job, as he should be. He wants to get a head jump on the transfer portal and everything that has to come with being the CEO of a program like USF that's already starting behind because they don't have the resources as some of the other schools where I'm sure Brian Hartline is trying to be. He wants to be in the talks like James Madison and obviously Tulane. So I was thinking that going in to Indiana, like, man, the Brian Hartline thing just doesn't make me feel good. And it showed. That offense just looked a shell of themselves. And again, you got to give Indiana credit. Like Indiana, Kirk Cignetti, he talks his talk and they walk their walk too. And Fernando Mendoza, he wasn't great, but when they needed him to make big throws down the field, he made some big throws, man. And when that ball's in the air, that thing show is purty. So, yeah, I get why Fernando Mendoza, even though it's a weak Heisman race, most likely he's going to take it. But, yeah, anything for Ohio State, the defense is good. Like, you force 13 points against your opponent, you expect to win that game if you're the Buckeyes every time. The fact that they only put up 10, I really think it has a lot to do with Brian Hartline and where his mind is. Who knows how that's going to be the next game? But they got to buy to sit on it, rest on it. If Ryan Day makes any decisions where he might take over calling those plays again, I wouldn't be mad at him for doing that and say, you know what, Brian, we appreciate what you've done for the program. You're a huge part of why we're wide receiver you, but hey, you took the job for a reason, dude. Like, go ahead and start because you're not going to sit here and hold us back because you're thinking about how your team is going to look down there in the Sunshine State.
Well, yeah, I thought that was a really, really good game. Easily the best game of the championship weekend. And I agree with you. I mean, Mendoza going up against that defense when he had to make plays, and Charlie Becker, is that the tight end's name? Because that dude,
he's a wide receiver.
Yeah, wide receiver, 6'4", 204. I mean, think of the big plays that those receivers have made between Omar Cooper and his catch against Penn State, Charlie Becker, and those were good passes. Surratt, like, I think Indiana, watch out, man, because that defense, that's what I was really watching in this game. They got some dudes, man. They got some dudes, and they are connected. So Kurt Cignetti, man, that was impressive. And he's so calm and cool, man. He acts like, hey, none of this is a surprise. Kurt Cignetti, he's walking across the field, like, got that little smirk on his face that
he always has his like mouth to the side. Like He's always like,
But you know
I
what?
like him, man.
I know.
I like
And
him.
the thing is, and of course, these words will echo in my head because, Dan Campbell said it when they had a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship game and lost it. And he's like, you just don't know if you're ever going to get back here. And Steve Sarkisian, you don't know if you're ever going to get back there. And when you have those windows of opportunity, and look, it's tough for Texas fans. You're thrown into the end zone with a chance to win. Or, you're in the red zone with a chance to win both of those CFP semifinal games in 23 and 24, or at least tie it or go for 2, whatever you were going to do. And then you don't know. You don't know if you're going to get back. Cignetti is a guy who reminds his team of that all the time. Stick with the process, It'll take you where you want to go. And that's a Nick Saban thing. It's a Bill Parcells thing. But the coaches who can really get that point across and get their teams to buy in and build that culture, man, they're the ones in this day and age. Hard to do, but Cignetti and his staff, they're doing a great job of evaluating talent and finding football players. We talk about it with Dan Neal all the time. Don't give me the measurables. Does the guy, okay, yeah, he's 6'6", 345, got long arms. Is he nasty? Does he love football? Does he have something to prove on every play? And it seems like Indiana's got a lot of those dudes. So watch out. I mean, like, you look at this bracket and woo! I mean, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun once we get into the semifinals. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see Oklahoma or Alabama beating Indiana, no matter who wins that game. I just feel like they got something seriously going on down there in Bloomington. And yeah, like, just evaluating guys, like bringing in dudes with you from James Madison and going in and getting even more transfer player guys and just buying in what you talking, man. Like, that's a big deal. That's very difficult to do each season with limited resources, compared to their peers in the Big Ten. They're not putting up money that Michigan and Ohio State are, or Oregon, and they're out here winning the conference. Like Tech's putting up a lot of Skrilla to be where they're at. I don't know. I know Fernando Mendoza got paid, but yeah, they just don't got money like that. And a lot of it's going to hoops. So, yeah, he's doing this thing. Curt Cignetti, should be coach of the year for sure. Because I thought Fernando Mendoza, he goes out first play of the game. Everybody in Indiana's like, oh, damn. His brother, who's the backup, which is cool as hell, looks exactly like him, comes in for one play. Mendoza comes back in the game. Everybody's confident again. And, yeah, like, it was a just grimy, tough, physical battle. Now, Fernando Mendoza, his post-game speech, kind of a weird dude. Kind of odd. It was weird. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how to explain it. I understand the adrenaline is flowing and you're excited, but it's just a little different. It's a little different now.
He's impassioned.
Yeah, but I am sure that's going to come up again. You know how they just try to nitpick every single thing you do when it comes to the draft process? I'm sure that's going to come up. Like, how does this personality fit in with all these grown-ass men where most likely he's going to be the starter on the team that drafts him because he's going to be the first QB taken off the board? That's just a weird personality with grown ass dudes. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's a goober, but I don't know. It's like, you know who I could compare it to? It's kind of Andrew Luck awkward. You remember how awkward Andrew Luck was? You know what I'm saying? Like you're just like, this guy's kind of weird. Like that's what the comparison would be. Like he just gives me he's just kind of off. But hey, nobody cares how you are off the field. Can you throw touchdowns? If you could throw touchdowns, then hey, you don't care how weird you are. Come on in.
I mean, weird. The dude's a winner.
I agree, but you still be weird.
Huh.
Been a lot of weird winners, you know. Dude hit puberty after he got the wind knocked out of him on the first play. Yo, he got hit hard. I didn't think he was coming back in the game. Longhorns in Omaha. I thought he was done, and I was about to be pissed too. I was like, yo, first play of the game, really? We've been waiting for number 1 versus number 2 all week. First play of the game, they knocked this fool out. And he's tough. You can't say he's not. He took some shots.
Yeah.
He took some shots, and he is way more athletic than people give him credit for. Like, he keeps plays alive. You know, yeah, I want to say Kurt Warner. Was Kurt Warner awkward? Maybe Kirk Cousins. But he improvises and keeps plays alive, and he throws that back shoulder fade, man. He's good. He is good.
Yeah. And if you're just tuning in, because I see some people who are just tuning in are saying Anthony Hill has declared. Yep, we talked about that at the beginning of the show. It's the biggest headline of the day for Texas Longhorns fans for sure. Not a surprise. Anthony Hill Jr., one of the top, he's a Butkus Award finalist, one of the top 5. I thought he should have won it last year. And this year played a lot more weak side linebacker, played which offenses were able to design and, get him into coverage, which happened a lot. Then toward the end of the season, Pete Kwiatkowski moved Anthony Hill more to the strong side linebacker position to keep him closer to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, and here's his announcement. Thank you for embracing me. He's talking to the Longhorn family. From the moment I arrived in Austin, representing Texas and wearing the burnt orange has truly been an honor. To my teammates, my brothers, thank you for pushing me and riding with me through every moment. To my coaches, Coach Nance and Coach Hype and Coach Gilbert, thank you for believing in me, challenging me, helping me grow on and off the field. To my family, mom, dad, my little brother, thank you for your love, sacrifice, and constant support. None of this would be possible without you. With that gratitude for this journey and excitement for the future, I'm officially declaring for the NFL draft. Hook 'em. Anthony Hill Jr. So, yeah, I think you can pretty much anticipate him opting out of the Citrus Bowl, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. And we'll see what other pro announcements we'll get. I think don't be surprised if you get a similar announcement from Malik Muhammad. And then we'll see what the coaches have been able to do in terms of talking to guys like DeAndre Moore, Quintravian Wisner, Trevor Gooseby, Hero Canoe. Those are the guys who, also have stay or go decisions to make in terms of whether to enter the NFL draft. And, I'd heard some good things about Trevor Gooseby possibly returning for his redshirt junior year next year. Of course, his brother will be on campus, Austin Gooseby, playing basketball for the Longhorns. And then, we'll have to see about, guys. Jack Endries also has a decision to make. And, Texas could use Trevor Gooseby back.
Hell yeah. They need Trevor Gooseby back.
They need.
Yeah. 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 Ant Hill, man, he was a part of the shift with Texas football. Like, Ant Hill's known as the college football playoff. First year you win the Big 12. Next year you play in the SEC championship. He's in both games to a few plays away from beating Washington to beating Ohio State last year. Like, the dude, just a straight up winner. And this versatility, that's what these NFL scouts are going to be foaming at the mouth for, because we saw that throughout these 3 years. You need him to blitz? Cool. You need him on the line? Cool. Is he one of those linebackers that can drop back in coverage and get some interceptions? Yep. You know what I'm saying? Can he force fumbles? Yep. Like, what can't he do? I know he needs to work on shedding off blocks and attacking the ball a little bit more, but come on. Like, the dude's incredible, and the dude's going to light it up at the combine too. That's what I want to see. I want to see that freak at the combine, underwear Olympics, flying around, doing all those drills, running the 40. Like, I think he could really improve his stock this year in the combine. And yeah, just wish him the best, man. Like, he's about to change his whole family's life, and that's always a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And look, his personality became the personality of the defense. And that's, man, you love having a guy like that, because he's a downhill guy. He picks you up and throws you down. He's physical. And he did show this year, like, every year he added a layer to his game. His freshman year, he was a pass rusher. His sophomore year, he was playing in the box at linebacker. And then his junior year, he showed you he could play in coverage. 2 interceptions and some other pass breakups. So he's got the full toolbox. Is he going to be the first linebacker taken in the 2026 NFL draft? I don't know about that. I mean, look, Kirby Smart's linebackers tend to go high in the draft for a reason. They're all playing in, they're all starters on Sundays. And so, it's going to be interesting, but he's going to go. I mean, whoever gets him, whether he gets knocked for being undersized or whatever, whoever gets him is getting a monster. I mean, his comp is, a player like Roquan Smith. He's going to be a 10-year guy in the NFL. And, and for a lot of Texas fans, he's a lot like Sergio Kindle. Kindle went in the second round, but Kindle was also 6'4". I mean, Anthony Hill's probably closer to 6'1.5". And it's stupid, but the first round of the NFL draft is about measurables. And, his measurables may not be what, some of these other linebackers are, but the dude is going to be a 10-year player. He's unstoppable. He gets the ball. He makes plays. And he had a lot to do with this defense and the mindset of this defense. So that's why Lianga Lafau showing he could handle it against A&M without Anthony Hill. He and, Ty Anthony Smith in the second half, but Lianga Lafau, that was a big game for him to have his best game as a Longhorn and help shut down A&M, because he's got to be the guy next year. And he needs to carry that pressure. It's different when you have to be the guy.
Yeah. And I'm going to need all of that from Lianga Lafau next year. Like, for real. And for Ant Hill, right now, according to NFLDraftBuzz.com, they got him as the third linebacker taken after Arvell Reese and David Bailey. So about second round, around 40th pick, which is solid. Like, I think that's solid. Obviously, everyone wants to be a first round pick, but they don't look at linebackers like they used to. Because Tech got a lot of them. Like, I saw those dudes from Tech, Rodriguez, who won the Buckus, Roberts, Bailey. Like, that's a big reason why Tech is coming into this CFP with a lot of momentum. That defense, poor Bachmeier, that dude, he just couldn't do nothing at Jerry World. But yeah, Ant Hill, man, love that dude. He will be missed. There's not too many guys like him just coming around often. And I know Tyler Atkinson, a lot of Longhorn fans are excited about him touching down at the 40 once January comes around. But there's some big shoes to fill because Ant Hill seemed like he was here longer than 3 years, but it also doesn't seem like he was here long at all. You know, like his plays, you just remember him doing wrestling moves on guys, like picking guys up and slamming them, just making big time plays. Like he's a big play guy. Like when you needed it, like that's what you were going to remember from Ant Hill, from those moments that he had against Alabama. Like he's just big time player. And yeah, like the NFL, they going to love him.
Yeah. The guy is, you know, he's physical and he's instinctive. He's just going to get better. I mean, like I said, he's added a layer to his game every year, and it makes you appreciate the guys like Zach Thomas. You know, even Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson, unbelievable player, unbelievable. You know, set records. Everyone talks about his forced fumbles season record. The record he takes the most pride in is the career record for tackles for loss. I mean, Derek Johnson was a wrecking machine, but as a freshman, his speed was used against him. You know, teams would run misdirection to get him out of the play. You saw it, Colorado in that 2001 Big 12 championship game, Derek Johnson's freshman year. And then, you know, it took a guy like Greg Robinson to settle him down. Like if you watch the great linebackers, they don't move at the snap unless they have already diagnosed the play and they're moving where the ball is supposed to go. They're making sure they're not getting fooled, and then they're going. And a guy like Zach Thomas, who came in as a freshman and just had the ability to sniff out every play, that's a tough position to come in and dominate as a freshman. And Anthony Hill, whenever his number was called as a freshman, they put him in position to succeed, and he succeeded. 2 third-down sacks against Alabama in a game that got them into the playoff at that time. It was just a 4-team playoff then, and it was huge. It's huge. And, you know, when you get guys like that, Kelvin Banks didn't even go through summer workouts. He got there in June. I mean, he did go through summer workouts. He didn't go through spring. He got there in June. Second game, he's up against Will Anderson Jr. and he's stoning him. So, you know, you gotta find those guys because those dudes are rare. Rare.
Yeah.
I mean, Xavier Worthy coming in as a freshman, 9 touchdown catches. Guy was an animal, you know. And then that was with Casey Thompson, and then, you know, he got with Quinn Ewers, and they were summer roommates, and then there were times during the season where like they weren't on the same page, some blah blah blah. But then they got it going, and you know, the rest is history. But it's a lot, man. It's hard to find those dudes. Cedric Benson, you know, Mac Brown. What were you thinking not playing him against Oklahoma his freshman year? Mac was always worried you put a young guy in too soon and the lights are too bright, then it causes confidence loss. But then there are those dudes like Cedric Benson who ran over everybody on his way to, won the state championship, ran over my man Houston Street. Poor Houston Street. He got credited with 17 tackles in that game, and he got ran over another 5 times.
So, was he a linebacker or a safety?
He was a safety.
That's why he got credit. Because Henry Benson already had like 15 yards before he saw Street.
And Houston's like, hey, how about you guys up front get this guy down so I don't have to keep getting, trucked by him at full speed.
It's rough. Yeah, I never understood that logic. Like, I don't want to put him out there because if he struggles, then he'll lose his confidence. Mac, I love you, but you're the coach, dog. You help him get out of that rut. You encourage him and motivate him. So if he does make a mistake, let him know, hey, everyone makes mistakes. We're human. I believe in you, son. Get back out there and run that dang football.
Yeah, I mean,
good. He's good.
It cost him Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
Cost him a.
You always say that.
It did.
What do you know? What if Earl wasn't all there freshman year? Like he needed a year to sit, watch, and then that changed everything.
Well, okay.
By the way, we need to go over the sticky note since the season's over. The sticky note takes, how'd those go? The end of the year. Because my what's my man's name? Ah, dang it. That's an A&M, the tight end, transfer from Texas.
Oh, yeah, Amari Nyblack?
Amari Nyblack. I hit on that one.
Yeah, you hit on that one.
I hit on that one. They gave him no chance. Mike Elko, you wrong, dog. What'd you bring him in for?
Yeah, you called that one in April. I said Texas would end up with 55 sacks. I don't think they hit that.
I don't think they hit that.
Let's I'll get all these put together for tomorrow.
Okay, bet. Yeah. Get them all put tomorrow. We got to go through it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How we do this weekend?
Oh, in the picks?
Yeah.
Okay, so we both had Georgia. That was a win. I had Indiana. You had Ohio State. Win for me, loss for you. We both had BYU plus 12.5. That's a loss.
Man.
And then I said Duke plus 4. You said UVA minus 4.
Come on, man.
So I went 3-1. You went 1-3. In the NFL, you had Cincinnati, the Bengals plus 6.
They lost by 5.
Okay. That's
39,
a win.
34.
That's a win.
Yes, sir.
That's a win for my man Zay. You had the Bears plus 6.5.
Oh, that was close too, wasn't it?
That was 7.
Oh, man.
That's rough.
Caleb Williams, he was wide open. DJ Moore was wide open. Caleb Williams just throws it into the back of the end zone. What are you doing, bro? He was wide open.
You got the Eagles tonight minus 2.5.
Don't feel good about that.
I had the Jags plus 1.5. That's a win. I had the Browns. I had the Browns minus 4.5. That's a loss. The Titans got them. And I just need to pick the damn Seahawks every week. And then I had the Broncos minus 7.5. They won by 7. That's a loss.
Yo, Yo, Pete Carroll screwed you. Pete Carroll screwed you on that. Pete Carroll, man. I saw Portnoy from Barstool losing his mind on that game because Pete Carroll, he has a point. Pete Carroll's mad sketchy. Mad sketchy, the things that he was doing at the end of that game.
He kicked a field goal to make it a 7-point game with no time left.
Oh, he was throwing it to get in field goal position. It was foul work. It was some nasty work. Like Pete Carroll, just a hater. Just a hater. Has no chance to do anything. They're trying to get Fernando Mendoza. That's what the Raiders are doing. They are in the Fernando Mendoza sweepstakes right now because Gino, he got hurt yesterday. And Gino, this might be it for Gino. It might be time to take the Jameis Winston role.
Gino has squeezed every last drop out of that NFL career. I remember watching Gino in 2012 when he was at West Virginia.
Yeah, with Tavon Austin. Yeah.
Tavon Austin, Steve Slayton. Listen to this. Gino, guess what his career earnings are?
What?
Career earnings for Gino. $107 million.
Yeah.
Geno Smith. He signed a 2-year, $75 million contract with the Raiders.
Stealing it.
Good for him, man.
Just a thief.
But yeah, I mean, oof.
Yeah, Pete Carroll, you wrong, bro. You wrong. You too old to be doing all that, Pete. But I mean, Denver, they still doing their thing. Bo Nix, which I feel bad for my girl Collier, man. She's done everything she could to get them this far. And those injuries, I don't know if
she's done everything she could.
Hey, come on. That's my girl.
She took some photos with a headset on, and Zay's got her.
Photos with a headset on. Come on, man.
You got her winning Executive of the Year.
Hell yeah. She was like, go get Sauce Gardner. It's not her fault Sauce Gardner gets hurt. Then they're playing Daniel Jones, who has a broken leg. Now he has a torn Achilles, ruptured Achilles.
That was brutal.
That's rough. Yeah, the Jags, which the Texans going to steal that division. They look good last night. Man. Jalen Petrie, Bullock, Lassiter, the way they hit Will Anderson.
The Texans are low-key turning into a Super Bowl contender.
Terrifying.
And I know John McClain's like, that offensive line is hot garbage. And their offense is, hey, if you got a defense like that, look, the Ravens in 2000 went 5 games without scoring a touchdown and still won the Super Bowl that year. What did we say at the beginning of the year? If you have a great defense, a good punter, and a good field goal kicker, you can survive. And that's how Texas survived the Kentucky game. That's how they did it. Because old Ryan Niblett ran it 45 yards back, set up a touchdown. They needed every little trick in the book, but that was the game where Mason Shipley kicked a 53-yarder against Kentucky. Mason Shipley gotta find someone who can do stuff like that. Of course, Arch will be better, and they'll have reloaded on the offensive line through the portal.
Yeah, Mason Shipley didn't get no real action like we thought he could have. He didn't get any Bert Auburn moments.
Well, Kentucky
kicks.
He kicked that field goal in overtime to win it.
Yeah, true. But
that counts.
It was Like it's 25 yards close, like in. Like it's not crazy, you know. He did his job, he did enough, but yeah, Burt got put in some sticky situations.
Hey, Burt's going to the playoffs.
True. Burt's going to the playoffs.
Can you imagine?
As a backup.
Hey, look at BYU. That whole thing with Jake Retzlaff, he's taking Tulane to the playoffs.
Yep.
And it's him. I mean, that dude's a good player. That dude is like, he's low key. He was in my Heisman consideration. Like that's how important he was to his team. Now, there were guys who were making bigger plays on bigger stages that, but Jake Retzlaff, yeah, that dude balled out this year. And BYU, they would have been a different team if they'd have kept him. So,
yeah, just let him get some Cuddy. What's wrong with y'all? Like, a little Cuddy ain't hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to change that rule. Because the Mormon Wives, I watch Mormon Wives. I love that show. They changed the game on how we look at everybody in Utah. Every time they do their B-roll and stuff, they always show the BYU stadium like it's basically in Provo. Them girls ain't doing nothing what BYU be asking for them kids. Them girls do the opposite of what BYU ask of their players and stuff. They need to come around. Things have changed since 1945 and whenever the hell they were making those rules. I don't know. Things have changed. They need to be a little more progressive. Come on, because they go lose quarterback. Oh, they got number 47 out here. Dude's a freaking linebacker.
Bachmeier.
I like it. He's tough. The 47 is flawed to me, but like you said, they could have had Ratcliffe. And instead, they wouldn't let my man get a little something. What if it's out of the state? What if it's out of the state? Is that cool still? Like, what if it's outside of Utah? You know what I mean? That still applies?
You're asking me questions I don't know the answer to.
Okay, I'm just
maybe that's the workaround right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I try to get a workaround for a lot of things. So the Cuddy, you know what I'm saying? Now he's in New Orleans. They go into the playoffs. You in New Orleans. Come on. Shoots. He putting Antouffet, licking it off women and stuff, beignet powder. Yeah, he living a dream now, winning games. Yeah, BYU and Kalani Sitake. He tried. I love when coaches go and try to vouch for their teams, man. Manny Diaz had no right doing so, but he had to. Kalani Sitake, same thing. He went up on that presser chip. He said, we played the best team in the nation. He said that like 4 times. This is the best team in the nation. We lost to them twice, put us in the playoffs. These guys, I want to shout out them a 3rd time. Kalani, y'all just got beat by almost 30, bro. 3rd time. Last time y'all almost got beat by 30 again. And nobody said he's not a good dude. Nobody said that. I like Kalani Sitake. I like him a lot. But that team just they ain't a playoff team. And it's okay. It's okay. They played hard this year. Big 12, dud. 1 team in. And I do think that's another reason why Texas didn't get in either. They couldn't put 6 SEC teams in. They couldn't do that. They don't want to be that biased, even though we all know SEC is the best conference, has the best players that go to the NFL and in the Pro Bowl. They said Ole Miss, Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, Alabama, that's enough.
Is Texas better than OU?
Yes.
Is Texas better than Bama right now?
Yes.
That's how you avoided that. You just sub one of those out.
Yep.
And the fact that we're not punishing teams for being in the conference championship, what are we doing? Like, Alabama drops one spot for losing by 3 touchdowns, and they haven't looked good in a month. Like, you got to factor that stuff in. You can't just be, well, they are in the conference championship game. We are not dropping them out. Okay. Well, then you're not getting the best teams in. So, good job, committee. You didn't listen to your own criteria, and you had Notre Dame too high all year. I think they've had Oregon too high all year. We'll see. Or it's not like Oregon's going to get.
Yeah, we'll see in the second game for Oregon because James Madison, they're going to be playing they backups in that one.
Yeah.
That's a damn shame. But then they got Tech. Have fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, Tech's defense is legit. So, like that, if it's Tech versus Indiana, that's going to be a hell of a game, man. That's going to be a hell of a game because Tech has a defense on par with Ohio State.
Yeah.
Like numbers wise. And Georgia, they just show up, man. Gunnar Stockton. I thought Gunnar Stockton was concussed late in that game. He took another big helmet-to-helmet shot that he just bounced right up, but when they panned over to him, he was like,
Yeah.
That dude is so tough, man.
Yeah, how is he? Like he's like a quarterback version of Scatterboo in a way.
Yeah.
Like he just kind of has that aura about him. Like it's just it don't matter how hard he gets hit, that SOB getting right back up. Like he loves that school.
Yeah, we said that earlier in the season. He's the quarterback version of Scatterboo. He's just grimy, tough, gonna keep coming at you. Yeah, man. If it's A&M versus Georgia, give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I don't trust Mario Cristobal to get it done in Kyle Field.
If this was a night game, I'd be right there with you. The fact that it's in the day, though, the fact that they've been chilling.
I mean, Mario, remember, he abandoned the run. They got that Fletcher guy. He can run it. He's tough. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Jaden Baugh, but you got to run it against A&M. I mean, Texas laid down the blueprint. So Mario, don't overthink it. Keep running it with Fletcher and then sprinkle in the Malachi Tony passes. Don't put it on Carson Beck's shoulders and throw it 40 times because he's going to throw it to the wrong team. So as long as Carson feels like he's got a running game that he can lean on, he'll make plays for you. Come on, Mario. Don't completely cough up a hairball here. And Ole Miss, I don't know what to make of Ole Miss, man. I don't know what to make of Ole Miss. They earned it. They deserved it.
Go ahead.
They earned it. I mean, they had a good season. I mean, their best win was at OU, so I don't know. Maybe they didn't earn it, but
for them, for my man Golden to be coaching in his first game, you would want that Tulane matchup. For your first game, this is exactly what you would want because this is just a warm-up game. So you beat the hell out of Tulane, then you get a good warm-up being the head coach. They get
Tulane, a team that Ole Miss beat 45-10 earlier this year.
Right.
So don't, Pete Golding, you better have your players' attention because they're going to be inclined to relax. Even if it's a playoff.
They're going to be locked in because they got something to prove. They want to prove to Lane Kiffin, you mucked up. You messed up. You left us to go there. All right, Lane. We're going to win it without you. Like, that's all the motivation. Like, Pete Golding doesn't have to do much. It just comes to the X's and O's. Is he going to press the right buttons to put his team in the right situation to win ball games? You know, the motivation factor, that's easy. Lane did everything for him. You know what I'm saying? So they're in a good situation. You get warmed up, beat the hell out of Tulane. Everybody gets acclimated to one another, coaching staff, players, etc. And then you go on to New Orleans to face Georgia. Rematch that game, which was a really good game back in early October.
So, Bert Auburn, he didn't attempt any field goals, but he kicked extra points late in blowout wins.
Brutal.
So, he kicked one extra point in a 49-12 win over South Florida. He kicked 2 extra points in a 42-7 win over Stanford. He kicked 1 extra point in a 38-10 win over Syracuse, 1 extra point in a 41-7 win over NC State, and a 1 extra point in a 38-7 win over Pitt. That's it. But
sad, man.
He's back in the playoff, baby. 3 straight years. Bert Auburn in the playoff.
That sucks, man. Like, I did not expect him to get beat out. I really didn't. Like, to not have a spot, I thought that spot was his. Like, I thought him leaving Texas to go to Miami, because obviously it didn't work out here. He was going to get a fresh start to show those NFL scouts, okay, I can be clutch. I just need a new opportunity. He ain't even get it. Like Mario said, we bringing in 2 guys, and y'all are going to have to battle. Like, why'd you take this, Bert? Like, did he just get bamboozled? Like, did they lie to him? Was the NIL that good? Because we know Bert. We know he likes to party. I know sources that have seen Bert down there on 6 with the honeys. You know what I'm saying? So we know Bert likes to party, like most college kids do.
Yeah, but you've always had this thing about him partying, so that's some source you have.
Oh yeah, no, that's our man, intern Brock. You remember intern Brock?
Okay.
Intern Brock saw a Bert down there on 6 with like 3 honeys and just Bert with 3, which I feel him. Bert. Get it how you live, baby. But also missing kicks and then living out here in these streets, they don't mix for me. So in Miami, there's a lot of temptation. A lot more here, a lot more there than in the ATX. You know, they see that hair, them Cubano women, they see that hair, boy. Bert guy flowing and stuff. They say Poppy different. Poppy different out here. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Man.
He ain't gonna get a chance, Rex. He's backup. He is kicker number 2. He is not gonna play.
He's K2.
Yeah, he ain't gonna play, man.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy, Lane.
For a field goal kicker.
Yeah.
He's the all-time points leader for a field goal kicker in Texas history.
That's what's just tough about it. Because where when it meant something in 2024, it didn't happen.
It was weird. Because he had big kicks late against Alabama in 22, against Texas Tech in 22.
Mm-hmm. When he was a walk-on.
Yeah. And then he had that kick in overtime against K-State. That's probably his best one. It was 42 yards. Ended up being the game winner when K-State couldn't score. Yeah. Yeah, now he's
changed everything. That scholarship had Bert with his chest out, had a little more money to just blow. Who knows what he was spending it on? Who knows? Yeah. Be careful who you give a scholarship to. See, now we ain't going to have those problems. We going to 105. 105, baby.
105.
105. 105 scholarships, no more 85. So everybody, if you got your scholarship, all right, cool.
Cool.
You start playing bad, we just going to sit you down. Like, sit them down. Couldn't do that with Bird. Didn't have nobody else. Will Stone, has he officially entered the portal? Because he's basically been shopping himself while the season's been going on.
Yeah. I know he's headed for the portal.
Okay.
The portal doesn't officially open until January 2nd, but you can announce that that's your intention, and that gets the recruiting process started. That's what all these guys are doing right now.
Shout out to my man Trey Owens, dog. It's been real. He's another one.
Yeah. Yeah, and someone brought up in the comments today, said, does he follow Neil Brown to North Texas? And, or does Jeff Choate try and get him?
At Nevada?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think both of those would be good spots for him. You know, I don't know what his ceiling is. Like, I'm sure he wants to play for a Power 4 school and see what that means. I mean, when you go to a Power 4, most likely you're going to be in a battle. So is he ready for that? Is he ready to battle it out to get that QB1 spot? Hell, even when you go to a G5, you might have to battle. It just depends. But yeah, he has a lot of promise. Still very shocked on how this season went for him. I know with Matthew Caldwell coming in and him being QB2, you would at least assume that Trey Owens would be QB3, but it wasn't the case. Like KJ Lacey, as a freshman, claimed that spot. And I'm sure all their energy was going towards KJ Lacey a lot more than Trey Owens, where, dude, you stay at home. We'll go on the road, but you could chill here. We ain't going to need you. That's tough.
Right, because you got, KJ Lacey, you got to keep him engaged because if you like him and you think he can be the backup next year to Arch, then you start putting all your resources into KJ Lacey. Here's the question. I mean, Drew Mestemaker, the quarterback in North Texas, was a freshman. So does he get recruited up and out to some other school, some, BYU or somewhere else, P4? And then does Trey Owens maybe fit what Neil Brown wants to do at North Texas? It's a good question. It's a good question.
Yeah.
And I'm a Trey Owens guy. I liked his, I know it was a spring game, but even Sark was talking noise after that spring game about Trey Owens, saying, no offense to the guys who hand out the stars in the recruiting rankings, we trust our evaluation on Trey Owens. And yeah, Trey Owens, he was dealing on third down in that spring game. He beat Arch. It was Owens who threw the touchdown pass to Ryan Wingo to win that spring game. But anyway.
Hey, since no college football playoff, are we having a spring game this year?
Good questions, eh?
No college football playoff, Sark. You can't use we played 16 games this year. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Bring back the spring game for 2026, baby. Let's bring it back. Because I could argue, Steve, the years that you have the spring game, you made it to the college football playoff. The year that you didn't have it, you didn't make it. So I get you were trying to rest, guys. Was that beneficial? We don't know. So the big point was guys needed rest and they've been playing a lot of football. You can't quite say that this year. So let's make everybody happy. Let's bring back the spring game, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Because trying to see something. This football season's over. Even though basketball's there, it's still some dark times, man. We miss it. So keep the fans engaged.
Those OTAs didn't really work out.
No. They didn't. Yeah, I think my man, the quarterback for North Texas, he's probably going to go with Morris to Stillwater. You would think. I would. Like I go to Stillwater with my coach. So, yeah, that might work for Trey Owens.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought the Cheez-It Bowl was just the Cheez-It Bowl. I didn't know it was the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. That's a lot. I get these sponsors. Do your thing. I mean, look at us. You know, we love all our sponsors, so we get it as much as anybody. But I thought it was just the Cheez-It Bowl. I had no idea it was the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. That's okay. Yeah. Which I watched some of that Ohio State-Michigan game again because now we got to start watching Michigan and go back and watch all their tape because that's just what the job requires. But Bryce Underwood, he had a tough freshman year, to say the least. And I saw Portnoy, I don't think he's given much more money to Bryce Underwood moving forward. Because if you only have, what was his stats this year? 9 touchdowns through the air. Now he has 5 on the ground, but 9 touchdowns through the air, 6 interceptions. For the money that he gripped them for, a lot of Michigan fans were like, all right, bro, come on now. We know you're a freshman and all, but come on.
Some of those throws were amazing. So, that's a lot to ask of a true freshman. People can say he's overrated, but he should keep growing into the position and watch out next year, the year after that. He's not getting $15 million a year. He got $15 million for the whole journey. So, and they didn't pay it to him all up front. So he's going to have to stay there and earn it. I thought it was interesting. Steve Sarkisian yesterday was asked, does Texas have incentives in their NIL agreements for guys to play in the postseason, bowl games, playoff? And Sarkisian said no. So, because some schools do include those. So we'll see. We'll see what the ultimate picture looks like for who's declaring, who's opting in, who's opting out. And remember, there have been times when guys entered the portal but did everything right and stayed with the team, practiced with the team, were available for postseason games while they were looking around. Now, I heard, when Jarek Gibson went and said, hey, I'd like to redshirt, the coaches asked him for development or transfer purposes. And Jarek was honest. And they were like, well, we're good.
Yeah. See ya.
So that, that's part of the reason Sarkisian is all about the 5 years and just eliminate the red shirts. Just give these guys 5 years of eligibility. That's.
Yeah.
It sounds weird, but
it does. After COVID, not as much, but Still
Yeah.
kind of weird. John Calipari, he was talking about in this last presser that went viral. He was like, yo, it's getting ridiculous out here. We're playing against these grown-ass men that are using their NIL money for alimony. It's like, he's like, it's getting nuts out here. These guys are so old, man. Like Texas basketball, they just ran into homeboy DeRitter, that 22-year-old freshman that's been playing in the best Europe league, the second best league out there after the NBA, could just come over and be a freshman. It's nuts out here. So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
All right, let's get a couple mentions in here. Hey, guys, if you're looking to get healthy, I cannot tell you how much I believe in the Humann products, Humann supplements. My wife joked with me all the time. She said, you're a collector of supplements. Not anymore. Now I'm all about Humann with 2 N's. And the great thing about Humann is their science-backed research was done right at the University of Texas Health Science Center. And they put it right on the bottle what you're looking for. Cardiovascular health daily. This is going to help you with your heart health, your blood pressure, metabolic. It's going to help you with your blood sugars, and weight management. You take that with your biggest meal of the day, you're not going to feel as full. And then cholesterol, healthy cholesterol. That's important stuff as we get older, guys. And this is the thing. You take all 3 of these every day, cholesterol, metabolic, if I can get the labels right, metabolic, cholesterol, and cardiovascular. Oh, yeah, baby. You're going to feel great. And don't forget about the Super Beats Heart Chews, which do help promote healthy blood pressure. So go to humanwith2ns.com. Look, if it's good enough for the Texas athletes that have won all these national championships, they all take the Super Beats powder. I take the Super Beats sports powder 30 minutes before I go work out. And the turmeric chews that help with anti-inflammation. You go to humanwith2ns.com. Use the promo code TSU. Actually, go to humann.com/TSU. Use the promo code TSU and load up. Load up on the metabolic, the cardiovascular, and the cholesterol. Take those 3 every day with the Super Beats Heart Chews, the turmeric chews. You're going to feel great. Your body's going to feel better. Your brain fog's going to be gone. And you have nothing to lose because they have a 90-day money-back guarantee. So load up, take advantage of that 20% savings by going to humanwith2ns.com/TSU. Use promo code TSU. I take these every day, feel great, and I'm done collecting supplements. That's the way I'm all about Humann, baby. Humann with 2 N's. And hey, for my guys who are snoring, how about giving the gift of a quiet night of sleep for the person sleeping next to you? Because look, snoring is more than just annoying to the person sleeping next to you. It could be the sign of a serious health issue called sleep apnea, which is a lack of oxygen while you're sleeping. And thanks to this great partnership that we have with Texas Sports Unfiltered and the Sleep Cycle Center, see it right there. Sleep Cycle Center, Dr. Chad Denman, who's dedicated his life to treating sleep apnea because it killed his own father at the age of 60. You go to sleepcyclecenters.com and tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. They're going to take $100 off your sleep study. That sleep study is everything. And Dr. Chad has the best technology to measure the level of sleep apnea and the best treatment options, including oral appliances like I have. Mouth guard holds my lower jaw open so I get that oxygen when I'm sleeping. He's got it all for you. And take advantage of this opportunity. Do it for yourself, because you should be getting your physical, getting your prostate checked, getting your colonoscopy, and getting your Humann, with 2 N's supplements. Take care of yourself. We're trying to help you take care of yourself. Do it. It's Monday, which means all night happy hour at Cover 3, baby. Cover 3. You want to watch Monday Night Football or just hang out with your buddies at a place with great food, great service, great vibe? Cover 3 on Anderson. Cover 3, Round Rock up there off Old Settlers. Got you covered. Monday night, it's happy hour all night, 3:30 to close. So go get you a Sean Adams prime rib sandwich. Go get that Chop House burger that Texas Multi calls one of the best burgers in the state of Texas. Enjoy yourself. You deserve it. And hey, ready for that big screen of your dreams? That media room, that man cave? Our man Tom McKay has got you covered. He's been doing it for 37 years. He's going to bring you the best price on big screen TVs. He's got you covered on the surround sound, surveillance, electronic shades, new lighting. Tom can do it all. And you're busy. You don't need to be trying to be a weekend warrior. Just call 255-8678, area code 512-255-8678. Let Tom and his crew bring everything to you. So simple. He's put big screens into 3 different houses for me in my 30 plus years in Austin, and he's ready to do it for you too. All right, let's get to the chip shot. The chip shot. We got a lot to touch on in the chip shot today. First of all, OLIPOP to Texas volleyball. You had a matchup in the round of 32 against Penn State, the defending national champion, Penn State Nittany Lions, a program that has won 8 volleyball national championships. Anytime you take on Penn State, it is it's a marquee matchup. And Texas whacked them out of Austin, just backslapped them right out of Gregory Gym, handled business, 3-zip. And now Texas volleyball going to take on 4th seeded Indiana, the Hoosiers. So OLIPOP to Texas volleyball, Tori Stafford, Carrie Spears, Marcus Spears' daughter, freshman. Do
you be seeing them in the stands, man? He's hilarious in the crowd.
He's into it.
He's so into it. Like, you can't miss him. The dude's at least
huge.
350 pounds. And he's a former football player, so I'm not saying that in disrespect. Like, you get why he's that big. But, yeah, man, he is a supportive pops that is very proud of his daughter, as he should be. And, yeah, Jared Elliott, like, he's smart for recruiting these former athletes' daughters, like Jermaine O'Neal and obviously Spears. Like, that's a big deal because they understand what it took for their parents to be where they are. And obviously getting that height never hurts anybody. So, yeah, I think that's smart. Like, I saw KG's daughter. She just committed to Michigan. She's like 6'4", Kevin Garnett. Like, she's like 6'4". Like, that's genius to me,
Yeah, it's like recruiting Dia Bell at quarterback,
Yeah,
Rodney, dad, mom played college soccer. You got to find those bloodlines. I mean, Asia O'Neal. I mean, Jermaine O'Neal's daughter. She's a force. I think they still miss her.
Yeah.
But look, Texas is coming, man, and Carrie Spears is coming. She's a freshman who's not messing around. So, and Penn State, they had that Martin Kennedy. She's, 6'6". That was a formidable opponent for a round of 32 matchup, and Texas absolutely handled them. And kudos to Maggie Mendelson. She's doing a better job as the middle blocker. So, Texas volleyball moving on. But yeah, I mean, look, as far as this college football playoff, man, I'm cracking up at Notre Dame and the ACC getting sideways with each other. Notre Dame got mad because the ACC started promoting Miami over Notre Dame. And then sure enough, Miami got in. You know, the ACC is putting out social media posts talking about how Miami beat Notre Dame. They were replaying the Notre Dame Miami game all through the night on the ACC network. Like every chance they could replay that game on the ACC network, they were doing it. And Notre Dame, their athletic director, Pete Bavacqua, went on Dan Patrick and said, hey, our relationship is strained. He said, we were mystified by the actions of the conference to attack their biggest really partner in football and a member of their conference in 24 of our other sports. They have certainly done permanent damage to the relationship between the conference and Notre Dame. So, yeah.
They would have rolled for you if you joined the conference.
Yeah.
They would have had your back. They would have played all the Miami Notre Dame games over and over again if y'all just joined that conference. In a time where I think it'd be smart to join the conference when it's down the way that it is, and Duke's out here taking ACC championships. I feel like this would be a decent time to join, but y'all want to be independent. So, yeah, ACC, I don't mind them looking out for themselves at all. Y'all are not a part of them, Notre Dame. So until y'all have a conference, y'all got to ride for yourselves, because don't look at the ACC to do so. They got to ride for their guys. And they only had one team available, and that was Miami. So they had no choice but to ride for them so they could get that CFP money. I get no problem with it.
Well, and man, the Houston Texans, I'm starting to believe in this defense being enough. And now they're 8-5, tied with the Colts. The Jaguars are 9-4. Everybody's like waiting for the Jaguars to fold up. But hey, the Texans split with the Jaguars. So I like where they're headed. And I'll tell you what, go Texans, man. Go Texans. How about the Steelers beating the Ravens in Baltimore?
Lamar Jackson looks so bad.
Ugh.
Sad. Like, I don't know what injury that he has, but you can tell it's clearly affecting him. And that Isaiah Likely non-touchdown was interesting. Like, he catches it. He has the ball out. 1, 2, then on 3, the Steelers defender pokes it out, incomplete. I mean, he caught it. He had 2 feet down, but the football play afterwards, that was their thing. When he was making a football play, the ball got hit out, so incomplete. That was the game right there. And yeah, that division is sad right now, but Mike Tomlin, folks want him out of Pittsburgh. He needed that win. He got it. And, back to the Texans, I've never seen Patrick Mahomes look that bad.
Yeah.
Even in the Super Bowls where the, Buccaneers made him look bad and then the Eagles made him look bad, it was nothing as bad as I saw last night, because at least in those games, he threw some touchdowns. Like in this one, he couldn't do anything. No touchdowns, only 160 yards, 14 for 33. And the way the Texans were hitting, man, legally. Yeah. Like it wasn't helmet to helmet. Guys weren't getting tossed for targeting. The way Jalen Petrie hit your boy Rashee Rice, man, oh my gosh. That made me jump. That was one of those, because he's got that Guardian cap on. Jalen Petrie said, I got this extra protection. I'm going to throw my body out there. And then old Travis Kelce, like, he got lit up too for that third interception. Man, they ain't playing. D'Amico Ryans, them boys, they are not playing. And hey, just control the game. Just be smart, CJ Stroud.
Yep.
Just be smart. That's all you got to do.
He completed less than 50% of his passes, but he threw for one touchdown. He connected with Nico Collins for, a 53-yard completion. They got into scoring position and did just enough. So, hey.
And Andy Reid. I don't question Andy Reid's play calling and decision making often. He went for some fourth downs yesterday that were really questionable. One was on his own, 30 or something like that. Just completely in bad territory. And I understand having confidence in your roster and in your offense. And if you have Patrick Mahomes on your side, I'd probably go for it more often than not while having some other average quarterback on my team. But still, with the way the Texans were playing and for him to take those chances like he did yesterday, questionable decisions, Andy Reid. And they asked him about it in the presser. Felt very Dan Campbell-like.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I love watching the Texans play defense. It's fun.
Yeah.
Go Texans.
Go Texans.
All right. Let's get to the right call.
Let's get it. Before that, though, shout out to Covert BK. Saw a car on the side of the road messing up traffic yesterday. I was like, man, that dude had a Covert BK vehicle. He would be out of that situation. And it's just true. New pre-owned vehicles, they are the best. Trust me, I know. The Buick Encore GX that we have, we absolutely love it. It is perfect for my family. Perfect for Champ, man. Roll the windows down for him. He's Gucci in the back. Wife loves it. The process was just easy. It was an easy process. And there's so much anxiety going into buying a car. Y'all know it, just because I don't want to get duped. Am I making the right purchase? Is it going to break down on me? And Covert BK, they'll answer all those questions for you and then some to give you that comfort card of your dreams. 7 terrific brands to choose from: Buick, GMC, Ram, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and Cadillac. So you're going to find what you want at Covert BK. And if you don't want to just touch down at the dealership unknown, go to covertbcave.com so you can know and see what they have to offer. So you're just not going in there blind. And again, they're going to work with you. My man Jerome, Marcus, Daniel, the rest of the team. It's not about making that quota. It's not about making that sale. It's all about finding what the customer loves and what they feel comfortable with going home for the next 10 plus years or so. So, hey, go to covertbcave.com now. Nobody beats a covert deal. Not now, not ever. All right, Chip, this is going to drive you crazy. So Odell Beckham went on the Pivot podcast with Shannon Crowder, my man Ryan. Wow, I can't think of his name right now. Ryan Clark, yep, and my man Fred Taylor. And Odell Beckham Jr. was talking about how it's easy to still struggle when you've been paid over $100 million for your career. Listen to this.
If I didn't have $1 in my account right here today as we speak, I'm going to be straight for the rest of my life. No question, right? I don't think everybody is in that. And when you've sacrificed your whole life to get here, and you're like, I played 10 years in the league. And I always explain this to people, I'm like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use, save, invest, flaunt, whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna get my mama a house, I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really $40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, And now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting $8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us, and ain't been in the position to be like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime.
Yeah, that would last a lifetime. That would last a lifetime. All you got to do is put it in a trust and pay yourself back. It's really simple. Come on. Come on.
Yo, what is he talking about?
Come on.
Why?
And the NBA players are worse.
Yeah.
They're broke. You know, NFL players, what is it? Sean Adams always used to tell me, I think it was based on like 09 figures. But 60% of NFL players are broke within 5 years after they retire. And in the NBA, 60% of players are broke within 2 years after they stop playing. And they got crazy big contracts. Like, come on, OBJ.
Yeah, that's a bad look, man.
Take $5 million and put it in a trust and pay yourself back over time.
For one, mama don't need a house. She come live with me. Mama,
right.
Like, mama, you come to live with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, build a little guest house for her.
Easy, a little tiny home. I'll be watching HD TV with wifey. She'll be watching tiny house, tiny homes and stuff.
Tiny
folks
house.
Be making it work. Folks be making it work. Like, you put your arms out and you touching both walls. Like, people can make it work. It's if you want to make it work. OBJ, you know you want to stunt. You from New Orleans, bruh. You know you want to stunt on them. Just say that. Just say that. Like, I got to buy me a car. What kind of car? Because you can go get something at Covert B Cave that fits and make that thing work. You don't got to get the Bugatti. You ain't got to get the Lamborghini. You don't need all that.
Well, and some NFL players take the money and go build a company.
Yeah.
I mean, from Roger Staubach to Selvin Young. Selvin Young sells food trucks and he's making a fortune. Like, all those food trucks you see, like, Selvin Young makes the food trucks.
That's dope.
And he's doing great. And he's getting jobs for, you know, former Texas athletes. And, you know, those are great stories because, you know, I'm sure Selvin Young never thought he was going to be producing food trucks after his NFL career. But you know what? He paid attention. He looked around Austin, saw all those damn food trucks, and was like, you know what? I'm going to start making some food trucks because I bet other places around the country need some food trucks. Sure enough.
Yeah.
Way to go, Selvin.
Yeah.
We need to get him. We need to get him on the show.
We do. Yeah, make that happen. Yeah, OBJ, that's just, and you feel bad because you're like, man, if only you were guided in the right direction, where somebody that you could actually trust had your best interests and told you to invest and not blow the bag. Because that Herm Edwards little camp that they have, that don't work. That don't work. Like, Herm, he tries to scare you, but that don't work. They need somebody that, you know, that's just a part of, you know, that's just a part of the grind, excuse me. But I hate stories like that, man. I hate it. Because he didn't say what car, he didn't say what kind of house he had to buy mama. I'm sure he got homeboys and kinfolk that he spent way too much money on when he should have cut them off back when he was at LSU. You know, those things aren't talked about. But yeah, I told you you'd hate that video. I told you. All right. James Harden is now top 10 in the NBA in scoring. He's behind Shaq, KD, Wilt Chamberlain, Dirk, MJ, Kobe, the mailman, Kareem, and LeBron James.
Are those empty calories?
What does that mean?
And if I say Carmelo Anthony, you're going to lose your mind because you love Carmelo Anthony.
I do love Carmelo Anthony.
But are these empty calories? Like,
oh,
I mean, he's a ball stopper.
What? He
ain't won. He ain't won.
Yeah, neither did Carl. Carl's on the list. Do we consider him a ball stopper?
No.
Exactly.
I mean, you could argue that Karl Malone and John Stockton, like, did they have enough around them? Because you need 3.
Jeff
right?
Hornacek. You remember Jeff Hornacek was doing this thing? Why you make that face? Yo, Horny was cold. Horny was cold. Horny looked like an old ass man his whole career and got buckets. But no, if Horny's your number 3 option, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah.
James Harden, he's a good, I don't know. You tell me. How do you define the James Harden career?
Incredible. Dealt with some bad luck. It's not his fault Chris Paul was getting hurt all the time. If Chris Paul maybe stayed healthy a couple of playoff runs, I think he'd get some finals opportunities.
When he was with the Clippers?
No, when he was with the Rockets.
Okay.
Rockets,
Yeah.
Chris Paul.
Yeah.
That's because they were close. And then Chris Paul got hurt in that game 6 where they were up 3-2 against the Warriors. And everything just came crashing down. There was one game where they took like 40-some threes and maybe hit like 3 of them in the game 7. It's had some bad luck. Sam Presti, I think, messed up when he decided to keep Ibaka and not Harden on those Thunder teams. Like that was Sam Presti's only mistake throughout his whole career of being the GM. Because Sam Presti is one of the greatest GMs of all time. Look at what this Thunder team's doing. But early on, that was one of those moves where you're like, oh, I get Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka was popping at the time. He was blocking everything, and he was hitting that mid-range jumper with a lot of consistency. But James Harden, you could tell how special he was. I will never forget that Game 5 Spurs series where he just took over, like just completely took over the game. You got Russell Westbrook and KD on your team. You're going to the guy you're bringing off the bench to hit the game-winning shot. Like, he showed special flashes where he should let James know, hey, man, you're a priority. I get Durant and Westbrook are here, but if you watch that starting 5 on Netflix, Harden talks about, like, I didn't want to go. I never wanted to leave.
Did they talk? Has anyone ever talked to KD about that? Like, was he consulted?
No.
Because as soon as Harden left, KD was like, I'm out of here.
No, he wasn't. It was like that happened in like 2012 season. KD stayed a few years longer.
Like as soon as his free agency came open.
Yeah, that was Russell's fault.
Yeah.
That was Russell.
Russell, how many rings Russell got?
Yeah.
And I listen, I love Russell Westbrook as a defender, as a two-way player. But damn, he was bullheaded, so just lacks awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I blame, what's my man's name? Scott Brooks. Blame Scott Brooks for that. He's the coach, or was the coach at the time. You got to nip that in the butt. You got to let Russell know, dude, you're one of the greatest players of all time, but 35, he could be the greatest ever. Like, he could be. At that time, the trajectory, he could be. You could say that at that time. And Russ wanted to be one of the greatest ever. And we all know what happened.
Because Durant just passed 31,000.
Oh, yeah. He's just going to keep climbing. Yeah. He scores so easily. He's just going to keep climbing. But hell of a show today, my guy. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's bring in the open gym, fellas. Matt, Patrick. What's happening?
What's going
What up,
on?
guys?
I mean, you got to remember too the James Harden part, the Brooklyn Nets, that it just never worked. That without COVID, there was a chance that works because when they all 3 were on the court, they were really, really good.
Yeah.
But because Kyrie played like 25 games that season or something like that, because he was only playing home games. And there were some injuries and everything else that they were never all three of them on the court. And then Harden bailed like right after.
Yo, what's crazy about that, Patrick? On that Starting Five Netflix special, KD calls out James Harden. And he's like, yo, somebody needs to ask James about what happened because it ain't on me. Don't look at me at what happened in Brooklyn. Ask James, and hopefully he's honest in this documentary where he'll tell you. And, of course, James wasn't. He wasn't honest about it. He was just like, it didn't work out.
But I think that's that was defined James Harden's career is when you play with other great players, you're going to have hard moments. And James Harden has always walked away from those moments. They just kicked Chris Paul off the team because he wanted to work harder. And Kawhi and James Harden said, we got a good thing going, man. We got a billionaire paying us side money, man. Why are you trying to come in here and ruin it with basketball?
How dare you?
Oh my God. I can't believe
you try to elevate this team to championship level.
I can't believe they did Chris Paul like that. I can't stand that story. Chris Paul,
it's terrible.
It's horrible.
I mean, look, the fact that he came to San Antonio and that team wasn't very good, and he was like, everyone's like, he was a super guy and he was awesome and fun. It was great to work with the young guys. Like, there was no one said anything bad about him the whole time he was there because it's a functional franchise.
Yeah.
And then he goes to some other franchises, and it's like, well, he's the problem. I don't know, because he seemed fine in franchises that are building.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
maybe it's y'all.
Like, I don't think SGA would be what he is.
Have a good show. See you tomorrow.
Appreciate you,
Chip.
See you.
Chip. Appreciate you, Zay. Welcome into Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text lines open, 512-222-9328. And, of course, over in the chat, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. Give us that like and subscribe if you're over there on the YouTube. It's a great way to keep up with us as we continue to do all of what we do here at Texas Sports Unfiltered. Matt, good weekend of some good football games, some blowout games. But we're officially into college football playoff time now, Matt. Ole Miss was not kicked out for Lane Kiffin leaving. Are you happy to have your Ole Miss Rebels in the playoffs, Matt?
I am. I think it's a little bit of an underwhelming deal, having to play Tulane in Oxford again for the second time this year when they already beat them 45-10. But that just goes into the group of five conversation and all that stuff. Overall, I'm pretty excited about it. It's first time in team history. Pete Golding seems like he's the right guy for the job. So we'll see if they can navigate this, because that side of the bracket is so much harder than the other side. It's not even fair.
That with A&M and Miami and Ohio State
and Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so lopsided. I can pull it up real quick.
For the record, Indiana beat Ohio State.
They did, yes, but like, look at this. You get Texas A&M, Miami, Ohio State, Georgia, and Ole Miss on one side, and then Alabama, Oklahoma, Indiana, Texas Tech, James Madison, and Oregon on the other.
Yeah, I mean, look, Texas Tech looked really good too. So I get it. I do think you're right. It's like, I don't think that side's as bad as it is. I think there's just, because I still think you look at that, and if you were to look at this right now, you go, the four best teams are the 1 through 4. And then everyone else has a chance to get into it. But it does feel like with the win, Indiana's in there. Indiana, now you have to say, look, they showed up and they played. They played really good defense. They were able to hold Ohio State, and they win that game. And that was the only real surprising piece of all the action over the weekend, or at least on Saturday, was, you start off, Matt, on championship Saturday, and Texas Tech just starts off a little slow and then puts their foot on the gas and the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Georgia kind of just took what we thought they were going to do, and in the second half made sure it was not even close. But they just consistently scored 7 points a quarter, no problem. Never let Alabama really get going. They only get one score in the game. We saw that. And then at night, we saw the two pieces of Indiana, Ohio State, which is really shocking. And Duke and Virginia were like, I could believe Duke would win. not really shocking. It's just like, oh, ACC. You've done it again. You've done it again.
Well,
We'll get into all of that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like, what was Virginia thinking with that play at the end of the game and overtime? Like, what was that?
I don't know, Matt. It's the reason why the ACC screws themselves over. It's because they know they're not good enough to just, so they try and do all these special things, and they try and find the way to win instead of just, being able to win. And that's playoff teams when the ACC was almost out. We'll get into all of that as we continue on the show today. If you want to throw in your thoughts on the college football playoff, we'll get into all of that, of course. I did want to hit before that, though, the news of we now have 4 Longhorns, Matt, that we know are leaving the team this offseason so far. My count is at 4. Are you at 4 as well?
Yeah, I'm checking right now just to make sure I haven't missed anything, but it looks like 4 right now.
Yeah, look for the show that we knew Trey Owens. Trey Owens was the most obvious one that was going to happen. That one was in writing when he became the 3rd string quarterback. Yeah, and that's not, none of us go, man. We appreciate you coming to Texas. We appreciate you picking us. I wish you the best in everywhere you go, and I hope you get to play, and I hope you get to be really good, and everyone else, and you'll be able to say, no, Sark and Milwee helped develop me, and Texas is a great place to go. It just didn't work out, and then you go play somewhere where you fit in a little bit better. Hopefully that's the case for Trey Owens. Then we saw a bigger one in CJ Baxter. That CJ Baxter, which is not wildly shocking in that case either, that he probably needed a new look after being here. I think it's a bigger loss than you'd want it to be because he was a really smart guy on the field and his teammates really, really liked him. But it did feel like at the end of the day, he does need a change of scenery after a couple of years, and it just not really working out, him not being able to get back to that first year of playing. And, depending on whether, if he wants to go, where he ends up going will be really interesting. Because I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to get a piece of CJ Baxter, but does he go to a different conference where he's going to be able to run the ball really well? Does he stay in the SEC, stay somewhere and try and go, continue to play power-nosed football? Does he go end up back at like a Florida where he was looking to go originally? Does he go closer to home? All those are interesting pieces for CJ Baxter. Then we also get Melvin Hills entering the transfer portal, who is, had really slipped down the depth chart with guys that they had brought in. Another one that kind of sees the writing on the wall like Trey Owens, that I'm probably not climbing up, that they're already, they're going to go get somebody else in the portal and I can work my butt off, but it's going to be really, really hard when I'm a redshirt freshman and true freshmen are kind of passing me by now. And it feels like now I'm going to be a redshirt sophomore and I'm going to be still behind everybody. I need to go somewhere where I can get a little bit more playing time. Makes sense there. And then, of course, the biggest one, that's not surprising again, but you hate to see it because how good he is and how important he is to the team, that Anthony Hill said he is declaring for the draft. So Anthony Hill will be leaving the program as well. Not a huge surprise at all, but out of those 4, Matt, we know Anthony Hill is the most impactful by far because he's Anthony Hill. Did any of them catch you off guard? Anything that surprised you out of those 4 so far?
No, not at all. Like you said, Trey Owens was the most obvious. He's going to end up being 4th string again next year, assuming they don't bring in, a veteran quarterback into the fold. Then he would be 5th string because Diabell's coming in. KJ Lacey has really come on, and he just needs an opportunity to go play some football. So I wish him the best. I think he's a talented player, and he just needs to find the right landing spot for him, and that's fine. In terms of Melvin Hills, it's kind of the same thing. He's a really talented player, but he's just going to get buried on the depth chart. He needs to get some playing time somewhere, and he's going to find somewhere where he lands that is going to need him. Whether that's an in-state program or another Power 4 program, I don't know. But again, not a surprise. CJ Baxter sounds like a surprise just because of his name. Who's #1 running back in the country. He was a real big part of that semifinal run in 23, and he just never really recovered fully from that injury that he suffered. And physically, he's just a different player now. And I'm interested to see kind of where he lands in terms of the level of football it is, because I don't think that he's going to be able to be as successful at another SEC program. For example, I think you could probably see him take a step down into a different conference, or even a group of 5 school, just based on where, his physical limitations are at this point. Anthony Hill, absolutely no surprise whatsoever. That guy's going to be a first-round NFL draft pick, and he's going to be playing football for a really, really, really long time. And I hope he opts out of the bowl game. I don't know if he said that in his statement, because I didn't get a chance to read it. But if he doesn't opt out of the bowl game, that would be a mistake, because you don't need to risk anything.
I can't imagine he'll be there. You don't want to risk anything. And also for Sark, and for what, we'll get more into the Cheez-It Bowl and all that here in a little bit. But the reality is, these bowl games are practice. And you want to get your other guys that you got in there and play them more. You want to get everybody who's, going to be a part of your team next year to go in and try and play some of these games and get something done. So, you don't necessarily need Anthony Hill in there when you're trying to have some young guys that you're trying to showcase. And Hair the Dog asked the question, do you all think CJ Baxter decision was a nudge from above? I could imagine that there was a talk about his NIL going forward with some people, or his agent or somebody saying, the NIL calls are not coming as fast as they were 2 years ago and a year ago. So if you want to stay here, that's great, but your pay is going down, because now you're going to be part of a stable, as opposed to looking to be the feature back, which is, we brought you in to be a feature back at Texas. Texas brought you in to be a feature back. Then the next year you get hurt, but you were supposed to be the feature back that year. Then this year it was, okay, we got Trey Wisner, but we still, hey, you can outplay him. If you go and have a great season, you can outplay him and be the starting running back again. And when that doesn't happen, and you're bringing in new recruits, and you're going to have to look in the transfer portal for somebody as well, sometimes you gotta talk and just say, the number is going to go down a little bit. So if that's, you want to go somewhere else where you do believe you can be the star, where, a fresh look at you, somebody else may look at CJ Baxter and go, yeah, they just didn't use him right. And in that case, then he can go get an opportunity, get more reps in practice, get more reps everywhere, be healthy for an entire offseason, I think will be huge for him. So I completely get it. He was one that I thought was most likely going to hit the portal, because, it's just hard. It's just hard when you kind of have that down season, especially at a position like running back, where you're always going to be in a room with 4 or 5 other really talented guys. It's there. And I agree with CB. I could imagine that CJ would be going back to Florida in some capacity to go back and try and get in. The question is, does a Miami or a Florida State want you, or a Florida, where you're actually going to play, or do you have to kind of go down one step below, or go to USF or something like that, where you can go and play and you'll be the guy there?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Brian Hartline going to USF, trying to reinvigorate that program, bringing in a former number 1 running back in the country to add to your portal haul would be a big deal. It's in the Tampa area, so it's not. I don't think that's where he's from in Florida, but I think it's close enough. Something like that. FAU, FIU would all be good landing spots. I don't know that SEC would be the right fit for him right now. I just think he's too physically limited. His power is just not there right now. Maybe he could get back to it, but given the severity of the injury that he suffered, it kind of seems like he's going to need to build back up for a little bit. And I'm kind of with CB on this one. I don't know that he should have played this season. They were real excited about him over the summer, and they thought that he was going to be ready to go. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But yeah, best of luck to him. I hope he ends up somewhere where he can make an impact, because when you talk about good teammates and good people, he's right at the top. He's going to be an asset in one way or the other for wherever he ends up, on the field or in the locker room. I hope he lands on his feet. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, UCF may be one in the Big 12. That's
Yeah.
in Orlando. That's where he is from. So that one makes sense if that's to go home. But yeah, and as far as him not playing, I get that. But if you're that young and you're trying to come, you're not missing 2 years. You're just not. Like all those best lays plans, they were on Chip and Zay, they were playing the clip of Odell Beckham Jr. talking about losing all his money. And you're just like, yeah. And we're as adults can look at that and go, yeah, dude, you're 21, 22 years old. You're an idiot with things. And that feels like CJ Baxter is being like, if I miss 2 years, I'm irrelevant, which you're not, but in your head you are. And so you got to come back and fight through it. He just wasn't quite ready to play at that level. And it didn't help that we didn't have the O-line to, it wasn't like Trey Wisner had, 1,500 yards and CJ Baxter didn't do anything. It's like the whole run game wasn't working. So he could still go and have some. It's disappointing because we all think CJ Baxter is like such a great kid and was a really great piece of the program. And the hope for him after that freshman year was so big. But this is what the transfer portal era is now. And if you are Texas, you look at that and you say, okay, well, instead of having, us to have the emotional decision of what do we do with CJ Baxter and are we bringing somebody else in or whatever else, you now say that decision's made for us. We can move on and look at who's going to be in that portal for us to go try and grab back out to replace CJ Baxter.
Mm-hmm. And there are some good names that have been entered into the portal already. I imagine there will be more as the week goes along.
Yes.
My question is, how many players end up actually leaving via the portal? We know Anthony Hill's going pro. We know Manny Muhammad is more than likely going pro. Outside of those two guys, you probably have 10 to 12 others that are going to enter, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe CJ Baxter leaving allows you to hold on to Trey Wisner, which would be good. Maybe he decides to come back. I'm starting to lean that direction. I don't think that anybody else you lose will really be that big from here on out, though. Maybe if Ryan Niblett decides to take another NIL opportunity somewhere, you could see that. But for the most part, I think that the majority of players that Texas is going to lose via the portal throughout the next few days and in the coming weeks are going to be guys who are either struggling to find time on the depth chart or who just need a fresh start. And frankly, that's more of a sign of a good program than when you have a star leave, which is what some of these programs will end up having. So we'll see where it ends up. I'm starting to feel pretty good about some big time players coming back, though, who we thought might end up leaving. So that's a good sign as well.
Yeah, because you wonder, too, is like another one that's really interesting is Connor Robertson, who could come back for another year, but you also don't know if he's going to be your starter next season or if you're going to go in the portal and try and get somebody that's maybe a little bit better than him or you feel is a little bit better. I won't say is, but I'll say feel will be a little bit better and have that competition in camp if he's still there. So I don't know. That's another one that's a little interesting of a starter that could be gone or could stay. You figure the wide receiver room, somebody's probably going to head out of that wide receiver room because it's getting crowded and they keep bringing new guys in. So it wouldn't surprise me to see another name come out of that wide receiver room. But outside of that, yeah, there's, we'll see definitely a lot more names. But like Melvin Hills is one of those names where you go, sad, see go, but I understand. Because, we make room for the new recruiting. And that is how you kind of want to run that portal as well, Matt, is you want to be able to bring in new guys and have them actually be in practice. And, when you're trying to run ones, twos, and threes, and your guy's sitting on fours, and then that's a true freshman, and he's not getting the reps now. So he's a little bit further behind than he needs to be because he's not getting those reps. You'd love to be able to get those guys in there.
Yeah, I mean, they're bringing in a couple really talented defensive tackles, James Johnson Jr. and Jamarian Carlton. You want to get those guys in there. You got a lot of young players. Josiah Sharma is one of the guys that I'm really excited to see. Really big dude who's on the interior there. Myron Charles is another one who I think needs to get some more playing time. Depending on how they decide to use Justice Terry, that's another one. And then you this kind of makes it feel like you're probably going to get Murad Watson back, which is good. If you get Hero Canoe back, that'll be a big win. So there's still going to be a lot of talent in that room, and it's really hard with that level of talent. Plus, they're going to want to bring in at least a guy or two, I think, on the interior as well. That'll crowd the room a little bit more. So get yourself out, get some solid reps at another program, and get yourself an opportunity to get some playing time. Maybe your NFL dream is still alive.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll go another name. I think, look, I'll say is probably going to hit the portal. My guess would be a portal would be Derek Williams, just because of where his position fell in the team this year. That it feels like he may be, again, another guy whose injuries kind of derailed where he was at in his progression. So that's another name. Love to have him stay. But if it doesn't work out, then I understand that one too. Because you just go, injuries kind of derailed where you were in that progression. And now you see Jonah Williams and some other guys playing a little bit more than you. But like Phil Sami's a question mark. He could go. I think he was still getting some playing time there at the end of the season. So he had some bad plays. He had some good plays, but I could see him staying. I could see him really going either way. But I think Derek Williams is one that you look at and go, when you start to get bumped down at the end of the season, it's never a great sign. Where you think, well, I'm going to be ready to take over for Taft next season and be that dude. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the CJ Baxter thing.
Yes.
He came out flying as a true freshman and then got injured, and it didn't really ever recover from there in terms of on the field reps and opportunities. So he probably needs a fresh start, and best of luck to him if he gets it. I hope he does. Colton Vasek is another guy who I'm curious about.
Yeah, I can see that
on the edge. It's kind of a similar situation as well. Like, he hasn't really gotten the opportunities on the field as much as he probably would have liked, and injuries have been a big issue for him. Maybe he needs a fresh start. Really talented player.
And Colton Vasek too. Like, this is just not as this is just off of me, but a lot of Westlake kids leaving this year.
Yeah,
Robertson leaves, and that's Burke, Robertson, and Taft that are all his buddies from high school. And so his ties to that team, even though he's got new friends there and everything else, that he was a late flip. He flipped after that Red River game against OU. He was an OU commit, flipped to Texas. So you could see him say, you know what, I came here, it just hasn't worked out. Injuries, once again, kind of put me behind the 8 ball. Y'all are bringing other people in. I'm not moving up. So he could either say, this is my job, this is my year to take in, and now the room's opening up and Burke's gone, and now I got my space. Or he could go, all right, change into the guards. I'm going to walk out with those guys and leave the program too. So, I mean, we don't know about Robertson yet. We do know Ethan Burke and Michael Taft will be gone because their eligibility's out. But outside that, there's a few guys around, and it's all guys that we had a ton of hope for that are very big recruits that I still think can be really good players in college football. But they just may not get the opportunity at Texas. And even if they work as hard as they possibly could this offseason and do everything right, there's still a chance they won't get that opportunity just because the other guy is better. The other guy is just playing better for what Sark wants to see. So you have to take those in. And if you're a really good player that, like Colton Vasek, still has NFL aspirations and real ones.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I'm not going to play, well, I ain't going to the NFL, so I might as well go somewhere and play, like CJ Baxter, like all those guys. If I'm not playing, my dreams are dead. So I might as well go try and at least get on the field.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that all the players were calling Vasek Baby Bosa. I mean, he's a really talented guy, really physically imposing. He struggled a bit this year when he was on the field, but he's a really good player. Zay Capelot, he could play either. He projects either way. He's going to be kind of a hybrid guy, so you could put him at either spot. Right now, he's kind of an edge, but he's a guy that could project in the future onto the interior. So that's why I put him in that conversation. But like if they move Justice Terry outside to the jack position, that kind of gets in the way of Vasek, or so that could be an issue. Being an Austin kid, like one of the coolest things about this Texas program over the last few years is the amount of Westlake kids who have made a difference. I would hate to see that stop with Robertson and Vasek leaving. But if that's what's best for them in their future, I wouldn't blame them one bit. I know they would love to stay in Austin and play in front of their home in front of their home crowd and their family and stuff. But if you really have NFL aspirations, particularly Vosic, maybe it's the best time. Maybe it's not. Maybe you're confident enough in yourself that you can lock down that jack position. We'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah.
A lot of the other guys that I have in mind, and we don't have to go through all of them, but a lot of them are guys that are young who are going to get buried on the depth chart with incoming transfers and stuff like that. So we'll have to see how it goes. I know that they're going to try and keep their most talented young players, though, as much as they can. So we'll just kind of have to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, we'll know more. I mean, hell, we can get another one dropped during the show because that is kind of what's happening on this Monday. We knew it would.
I mean, I've got my phone propped up over here with Twitter on every alert that I could possibly have just in case we miss something. So
just in case. Yeah, it could definitely still happen during the show. If it does, we'll let you know. But yeah, it does feel like now that the college football playoff final rankings came out and we know that Texas is not in that, that's when you start to get those decisions. That's what they're kind of waiting on. Sark, I'm sure, has already been having some conversations with the older guys if they're going to declare for the draft, trying to figure out what their plan is, because they're starting to look at the portal, starting to, look and see what other teams are. It's going to be a lot to get into, but Matt, let's get into the college football playoffs now, because we'll talk a little championship week in this. But, if we get those final rankings, we get it's done. And the big story was, of course, that they finally fixed the Miami Notre Dame problem that was broken all year. And I was watching the SEC championship with some friends that are Bama fans, and so Bama's getting killed, and I'm like, here's the deal: you are rooting for Virginia now, because if Virginia doesn't get in, the ACC is going to push really, really, really hard for Miami. And the question is it you or Notre Dame who gets screwed by it? And the problem was, I'm fine with Alabama getting in over Notre Dame. But I was like, Notre Dame can't get in over Miami because they beat them head to head. That has to mean something. Mm-hmm. That has to mean something, that you schedule these really good games so that you do have that head to head. You have that advantage at the end of the season. So I believe that. And then we saw their AD come out today. Was it Pete Bavacqua? Mm-hmm. Come out today and just really make himself look like an ass for most of the day. So, like, you could have done what Texas and Vanderbilt did, where Texas took a ton of grief for it all week, saying, we believe we're one of the best 12 teams, and we believe we're there. And then when it didn't happen, Sark said, yeah, it's disappointing. We're going to move on to what our next challenge is. We're going to go do that. And really, Clark Lee, same thing for Vanderbilt, took it in stride, said, we get it. It is what it is. We should have won those games. We didn't. We're going to move on. We're going to improve to try to win a championship in 2026. And Notre Dame seems to go, you guys have not given us everything we've asked for, and that's not fair. Like, well, everybody wants to get what they want to have. So he's now said that basically, without having to win a conference championship, they're going to be treated as a conference champion going forward. So if they're in the top 12, they get in.
Yeah, that starts next year, I believe.
They will be an automatic bid now if they're in the top 12, which is nuts. And they'll be top 14 too if it goes to 14-team playoff. It's just nuts. So first of all, that happens, which makes everyone go, yeah, now we like you less. Why would you drop that when you're having a pity party and looking for somebody to think bad? And you're like, by the way, we rigged the system more. Like, whoa, don't drop that today. So leave that one out for a little while. Don't let us know that you're going to screw over other more deserving teams in the future as well. But they've dropped that one. And then basically go through that the ACC has ruined their relationship by campaigning to get an actual ACC team instead of them in, which you're like, okay, if I'm the ACC, I tell them tomorrow, okay, we're pulling every single ACC team off your schedule. All of them pulled off. Go book a schedule. Hey, this ain't our relationship. You do not help us as much as we help you, because you have to schedule these games. So you can save it with all of that. We schedule the games because, yeah, you're a good opponent and we kind of get you by proxy in. But if you're going to be a prick about it, you're not that special. Your ratings aren't as good as you're making them out to be. Like, that's the big thing. They're on Peacock. Their ratings aren't great on NBC and Peacock. Texas has far better ratings. Ohio State has far better ratings than Notre Dame does. And so we can say, and I'm like, I get it. It is a national brand. It is a blue blood. I'm not disputing any of that. But to act as if they are the premier program in college football is insane.
Well, that's their prerogative. If they want to act that way, they're free to act that way, but they're also going to make themselves look like dumbasses on the way to do it. The funniest thing about all of this is that if they had joined a conference, the ACC, hell, if they had joined the Mountain West, they would be in the playoff.
Yeah, they would be.
But because they want to be whiny babies about it, and they want to blame everybody else for their problems, for their, their lack of scheduling good football games and not beating anybody out, inside the top 15 and their weak strength of schedule, they're just making themselves look bad at this point.
Yeah.
And this is going to be alongside the argument that Texas could possibly have, alongside a couple of other arguments. This is going to be the springboard that puts us into another expanded playoff sooner than later.
Yeah.
And I'm good with it. But if you're going to do it, like I've come to grips with it. I'm like, if it's inevitable, so we might as well accept it. But if you're going to do it, you got to take out that Notre Dame clause.
Well, so the Notre Dame clause is only for 12 or 14. So if they go to 16, it's not in. Now they'd ask for it again.
But you can't give it to them.
No, I'm with you. But it does feel like one of those things of like, well, this will be the reason we have to go to 16 instead of 14. Because Notre Dame gets a bye or Notre Dame gets in for free. And then, but yeah, it's, I mean, the only thing I can say that Notre Dame should be upset about is why did you tell us we were in and then change it the last day when neither of us played a game? That would make me more upset. That would be the only conversation. It's like, well, then don't get my hopes up that we're the better team than Miami and then all of a sudden change it.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of explained it, but the explanation was very weak.
Yeah.
It's like, well, when they weren't right next to each other, we were okay having Miami behind them. But now that they're right next to each other, head-to-head matters. Like, what? No, they should have been ahead of them the whole time.
The whole time. They should.
What really happened is you dropped Miami way too far on accident.
Yes.
And then you had to make up for it in the coming weeks. And, honestly, one of the other things that bothers me about the playoff a ton in the rankings doesn't even have to do with Notre Dame and Miami. Like, they got the Miami thing right. They just waited too long to do it. Having BYU still ranked ahead of Texas in the final rankings is unbelievable to me. They lost to Texas Tech by a combined 46 points in 2 games. All 3 of Texas's losses combined were less than that, less of a differential. Yeah. And 2 of them were to the top 2 of the top 3 teams in the country. And you still leave BYU up there because, we don't want to punish them too much for playing in a conference championship game. Big 12 football is boring, and neither of those teams are going to make it very far in the playoff.
Well, let's
BYU
be clear.
wouldn't have beaten anybody.
No, and they really did show that the conference championships don't hurt you because Alabama's still in. Like, Alabama's still there. And I mean, when you got both now, their excuse for that was, or their reasoning, I shouldn't say excuse, reasoning for that was, well, they're 500 against Georgia though. They already beat Georgia at Georgia. They beat
matters.
So we can't say that Georgia's definitively the better team because they played twice and they're 500. So it's silly to say that Alabama can't beat Georgia because they also did the season, which makes sense. It's a legitimate thing to put in there. But yeah, that was the one was, but like you saw it. So non-conference at the beginning of the season matters more than a conference championship game, but conference championship games are not really going to affect the polls too much. BYU just was never really going to get in. And so they could use that to push them, but they didn't even drop them anymore. They just said, we don't really want to move anybody for conference championships weeks.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it. BYU wasn't a playoff team. They never were. They didn't beat anybody good except for Utah, who didn't beat anybody good.
Yeah.
So I'm really sick and tired of all of these Big 12 people who are banging their hands on the table for BYU to be a playoff team. It's It's bias BS. Everybody talks about SEC bias and that kind of thing. You know what the real bias? I mean, the Big 12 stuff is ridiculous, and it's kind of a non-starter for me. It just kind of annoys me. The Big 10 bias is what really bothers me. Yeah, I know they only got 3 teams in, but do you really believe that Oregon is a better football team than Ole Miss or Texas A&M, or that they have a better resume than Ole Miss or Texas A&M? And why, why does Georgia not move up to number 2 after winning a conference championship?
By a lot.
But it win by a lot over a top 10 team. But Ohio State loses and they stay number 2. Make that make sense.
Well, that's because conference championship games don't matter.
But you moved Indiana up to number 1.
You switch
if they don't matter, then they don't matter.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying, but that's why they're like, we're not really. We'll flip those 2, but you're not going to lose your position. Now, what would have been interesting if Georgia was number 3, or Georgia was number 2 going in, and Indiana was 3. Where do you move them then? But yeah, it does feel like, yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the Big Ten does. We know that they're top heavy, but like this is kind of the deal in the transfer portal era. It has made a lot of teams. I think it's made more teams competitive than have been competitive before. That you do get competitive games with talent on a lot of different teams. However, your top-heavy teams are still very, very top-heavy. That you're still talking about the top 4 or 5 teams being really a lot better than most, and then the top 15 teams being better than a lot of other ones. And so when we talk about those quality wins and how much they do matter, when you're beating these teams that are at a very high level, that have spent a lot of money, who have put together these really good teams, I think that should account more than not losing to everybody. Like I just think they have to count more. I wouldn't say not losing, but when we're ranking teams and we go, well, they didn't beat anybody. How do we know they're any good? And they go, well, they didn't lose. And you go, but they didn't beat. Like they're definitely better than all of the bad teams. But I like if Texas played BYU, I'm pretty sure we'd be okay with it. I think Texas is gonna now. Bowl games are different too. Like, I don't know who's going to play in a bowl game for Texas against Michigan. I don't know who for Michigan is playing against Texas. So it is going to be difficult because you're going to be playing a lot of different guys.
Well, I can tell you one thing. It's going to be a really good quarterback matchup.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited to I know I've heard some people or seen some people online say Arch should sit for the playoff game. No, he shouldn't. He needs all 15 of those practices. He needs those game reps against a good team. And him and Bryce Underwood is going to be one of the best quarterback matchups in bowl season or playoff season, regardless, because both of those guys are super, super talented. No, Arch plays the whole game, Joe, as long as it's competitive. If Texas is up 45-7 in the second half, yeah, you can pull them out. But you treat this like a playoff game because it is arguably the most high-profile bowl game of all of the other bowl games that aren't playoff games. You know, I know people call it the Cheez-It Bowl, but it's the Citrus Bowl, and the Citrus Bowl is one of the most notable bowl games that there is. So, he should play a lot, and I do think that they should play some younger guys. Like I think Jamie French and Khalik Lockett, and some of these other younger guys need to get a lot of run. And when the game matters, because if you lose, it doesn't particularly matter. You want to win. You want to get the 10-game streak continued and get that 3 straight seasons of 10 games and all that stuff. But you got to get some of these guys some real reps against good teams so you can see what you got. And this is like going to be like another spring football for them with a spring game at the end against a really good team.
I mean, you remember we talked about all season that this is a really young team, and they need, and like you're now looking at 2026 saying, okay, we were building and starting to get momentum. How can we keep momentum going through now, taking several weeks off and then coming back and playing in this game and then, booing that into spring and where you want to be in spring. And now not looking at the beginning of next season against Ohio State as, well, we're not really ready to go. But walking into that game and having Ohio State maybe be not as ready to go because they're going to have so many more changes. They're going to go into the playoff and they're going to, play a bunch of games and have to kind of rest guys, have to get a new offensive coordinator, all those pieces. So it feels like that's going to be it. And Temple of Brutus, that the reason why they can't make that rule is because a few years ago there was only like 6 teams with only 2 losses. Like a bunch of teams had 3 losses. It was just more. But now again, we're getting into where it's a little bit more top heavy. Also, conferences are specifically, let's say the Big Ten is specifically not scheduling hard games for their top teams.
Yeah.
Like it's not a random generator. They're going in and going, okay, well now let's go ahead and put these guys over here. And it just works out this way that they're only ever at max going to play 1 good team and 1 decent team every season. And then the rest is going to be pretty much like Iowa will get thrown in there as a decent team, or USC will get thrown in there. But you're all going to play the bottom half of the Big Ten. You're all going to play them.
Yeah. I have a solution for Notre Dame, by the way.
Yeah.
If you really are tired of, if you're going to use this thing that the college football playoff did to keep you out as a reason to make changes, call the Big Ten. I know they're not going to do it, but this is what they should do. Call the Big Ten and say, send Maryland back to the ACC, and we will take their spot in the Big Ten.
Oh, no, I agree. They should. But, like, again, Notre Dame wants to be what Notre Dame was, which people forget now. And, like, to me, it's kind of the same thing of Texas versus Arkansas, where it is a thing. And it's very true that that's a rivalry. But for anyone 35 and younger, maybe 40 and younger, it's not a huge rivalry. It isn't. For anybody that's a little bit, that's like 40 and younger. We know about it. We know the history. We get all of that. But there hasn't ever been that, like, we don't necessarily talk to enough Arkansas people. There's not the rage and debate about all that we get with you get with an OU and you get with an A&M. For Notre Dame, if you are 40 and below, you don't remember when you couldn't watch all these games on TV every week. And every Notre Dame home game was on NBC. But you didn't get to see all of your team's games. You were not on TV every week. So when Texas played San Jose State, you either went to that game or you watched highlights later.
Or listen to it on the radio.
Listen to it on the radio with Craig Way, Bill Schoening back in the day. But like it's the same thing. But the people at Notre Dame are all 40 and older. And so they look at it as, no, we are the program because we use this advantage in the 90s. And then when we started to get in, that's where so they still look at it in the sense of this is what Notre Dame, you're like, but the world's changing. And it's been a while since that was really the case. You've still been really good. You've still had runs. You're a really good team, but you're much more in line now with everybody else. That identifying factor. I know you've got a movie made about you. So does Indiana basketball, and nobody cares.
So does Texas.
Oh, which
it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but they made it.
The house? Was that the one?
No, the one we watched about Freddie Steinmark.
Oh, well, they got a bunch because they got that cheerleader movie too with Tommy
and then
Jones.
They've also got the one about the Syracuse running back where they play Texas at the end and they make Texas look all racist and stuff.
Oh, yeah. My buddy's related to Daryl Royal, and we were watching that, and that scene came on, and he went over the DVD player and popped it out, snapped the DVD in half, and threw it in the trash.
As he should have.
I was like, "Yep, all right, we're gonna take that one." That is, he's like, "That is not who my grandfather was." But yeah, and look, I agree. The auto bid thing, that is now a big conversation as well, because we do now get, instead of Virginia, which even Virginia would have been bad, but like it just feels better than James Madison and Tulane, where we're like, we get it, but you're just not playing at this level of competition. You just don't have the players. It's going to take Ole Miss completely falling apart, or it's going to take Oregon completely falling apart for you to have any shot. Whereas BYU or Texas or Notre Dame would all play those games much tougher. Now, maybe they'd still all lose too, but they would be competitive football games. And this doesn't feel like, if neither one of these games is within 3 scores, can we kill it? Can we just make that rule down? If it's, guys, not even 3 scores. Now, if it's 1, all right, you're in the game. Not gonna hate you for it.
Well, I think I talked about this on either Thursday or Friday. Maybe we were talking about it with Bama Bruce. But I think it's an easy fix with the group of 5 automatic qualifiers. I'm fine with having them, but they have to earn it.
Yeah.
And to earn it, I think that you have to be, let's say they move to a 16-team playoff. I think you have to be within the top 20 of the college football playoff rankings, or your automatic qualifier is nixed. If you're within the top 20 and you're a group of 5 champion and you're the highest ranked, non-power conference champion and you're in the top 20, you get in. Otherwise, nope. We're going to the next, at-large bid, which would have this year been Notre Dame or BYU or Texas. That's the easiest way to fix it. And I don't know why they have to make it so inclusive. Like, why do we play the football games in the SEC? Why do we play the football games in the Big Ten if we're going to be right on the bubble of the 12 best teams in college football, but then James Madison gets in because 2 bad teams played in the ACC championship and the worst team won? Like that doesn't make any logical sense to me. So, make some tweaks.
And that's the thing, is I'm with you. I think it does. Like, yeah, let the group of 5 get in. That if their schedule is just not, their strength of schedule isn't good enough, but they're playing great football. We all know they're playing great football and all of that. Then I'm fine going, because of your conference, because your school is a little bit smaller, that this is why you're in that smaller one. But you have a chance. Like Boise State, not last year, but Boise State several years back, was probably the best example of a team that you're like, everybody thought they were going to get killed, and then they would go win some big games. So I think like there are those teams that exist and they will come up. There's not one this season.
No, but I think Boise State last year was a good example because they went to Eugene or maybe it was at Boise. I can't remember, but they played Oregon, who was undefeated that year, and they played them within 1 score.
Yeah.
And that was their only loss of the season. So like totally put them in the playoff. They deserve it. But this year, like Tulane, who got blitzed by a team that they're going to play in round 1, that doesn't make any sense. And James Madison certainly doesn't make sense.
Temple, I get the concept that we should be super fair. Here, okay, 75-team playoff, everyone's got a chance. Here's the reality. James Madison has 0 chance of winning a national championship. Ever. You know who else doesn't have a chance? Maryland. You know who else doesn't have a chance? 0% chance ever of winning a national championship. It's really, really hard to win one. And I get it sucks, but I'll tell you what, James Madison, schedule really good teams. Go beat them.
Yeah.
Go to every SEC team, go to Georgia, go to Texas, go to Alabama, go to Ohio State, and go, no money. We don't want any money. We just want to play the best teams in the country and go beat them. And if you do that, you know what? You'll be in the playoffs. You'll be ranked 3 or 4 in the country.
Yeah.
But you can't do that because your team's not good enough to do it. Because you don't have a big enough program. You don't have a big enough money. That's how it works. I know it's not fair, but the reality is this is not about being fair. It's about making money and being a big, giant football program thing. That is what it is. It's not like we can't pretend that we're not doing this when it's the all-state playoff by ESPN or sponsored by 48 other things. It ain't about let's put some bad football on TV that nobody wants to watch either one of those games.
Yeah.
And I'm, again, not saying Texas should have been in. Just saying those teams maybe have a problem of they weren't good enough this season. There wasn't a big Boise State last year should have been in. No problem with Boise State last year.
Well, James Madison scheduled a Power 4 team this year, and they got beat by 2 scores, and they had 263 yards of total offense, and it wasn't a competitive football game. They lost 28-14 to Louisville. Yeah, they were winning 7-6 at halftime. Louisville outscored them 22-7 in the second half. And what did Louisville do this year? They finished 7th in the ACC and they went 8-4. And you couldn't play them within 2 scores? How do we expect you to play Oregon within 2 scores?
Yeah. That's all it is. If you can go play, like USF was a perfect example. If USF could have pulled off a huge upset against Miami, right? Then they go through their season. Then you go, man, they start off their season. They schedule Florida State, and Miami. And they beat them. And I get Florida and Florida State were nothing this year. I get it. But they beat the 2 bad ones. They couldn't beat the good one. And then they couldn't win in their conference. So they get knocked a little bit further down. They don't get in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But that was a team we saw at the beginning of the season, and you thought All right. If they beat Miami, I'm telling you to put them ahead of all these other people already. I don't care because they can play against Power 5, Power 4 teams. And so it's more along the lines of what's going to make this really fun, what's going to put the best possibility of putting teams in there who could have something and really make a chance. And I get it's elitist. Temple, you're right. It's elitist. But at the end of the day, that's what this is. Like, why are we pretending that it's not?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought up USF, Patrick, because they did everything they possibly could to give themselves an opportunity to make the playoff. Not only did they schedule Florida, who was ranked number 13 at the time, not only did they schedule Miami, who was ranked number 5 at the time, they also scheduled the best other possible team they could have faced that they could schedule a game with, which was Boise State, who came into the season ranked as a top 25 team. They went 2-1 against those teams, and they had a really good chance to make the playoff, even though they got blown out by Miami. And then they went through their schedule, and they lost to Memphis, and they still had a chance to make the playoff, and then they lost to Navy. Like, yes, you have to be held to a different standard if you're going to make the playoff as a group of 5 team. This isn't a participation trophy.
Yeah.
It's the 12 best teams in college football, period. And James Madison is not one of the 12 best teams in college football.
Temple, I'm also going to throw this out there. I know you are a Ohio State fan, and we are Texas fans. Not every school is trying to win a national championship every year. Like, that's not the goal of every team. Iowa State's not trying to win a national title every year. They're trying to win the Big 12. And you love a national title, but that's not what your fans are waking up in the morning going, it's national title or bust. You go, there's a lot of you win your conference. You go on and do that. If you want to be national champions, go to Division II. Still give scholarships. Still go play football. Go to Division II. Just don't.
Yeah, I mean, those teams are waking up on August 30th or August 31st, whenever week 1 of the season was this year, and saying, we want to win a national championship, but our goal is to win the Big 12 so that we get an opportunity to play for the college football playoff. They're not coming into the season as national title contenders.
Yeah.
You know, in Maryland, they're rebuilding their program. They're not trying to win a national championship. They're trying to build. Outside of the top, 15 to 20 teams in the country, most teams are trying to rebuild and get to a point where they can compete later. And look, if you go to a group of 5 school in today's day and age of college football, if you're a recruit who, let's look at the Texas, North Texas running back that I told everybody to watch last week that ended up getting hurt against Tulane. Guys like that go to a place like North Texas because they've been overlooked, and they're trying to earn themselves an opportunity to get looks in the transfer portal and then move up into a Power 5 program. That's what the majority of the group of 5 has become, a gateway to power conference football. So basically what you're doing by putting 2 teams from the group of 5 into the 12-team college football playoff is you're taking 2 NBA G League teams and putting them into the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't be. I'm with you. And now I get there not normally 2 group of 5 teams that are getting, and either normally the ACC is in. The ACC screwed themselves up and shouldn't, and you're just like, okay, but Miami, I'm fine with Miami and had a good season. They're a really good football team. I'm not going to get as mad about that because again, like at the end of the day, I know as Texas people that we feel our reasoning for Texas to be in the playoff is the strongest. I can see the reasoning for Notre Dame. I can see the reasoning for Miami. I see the reasoning for all 3 teams. So I'm not saying any one of them. That comes up to it.
Temple,
why
we talked
do you
about
keep
this last week?
This is not about the SEC. This is about the 12 best teams. Again, if it was Notre Dame and BYU and not us, it's still a better playoff.
Yep.
That's my point. I'm not saying it's Texas. I'm not saying it's
James Madison out, put Notre Dame in, and I don't have a problem.
I'm saying James Madison scheduled one group Power 4 school. It was Louisville, and they lost.
By a lot.
They did not play anybody all season long. And then they get to sneak in the back door. And if you want to drop the excuse, well, how are they going to win a national championship? They're going to quit the school. They're going to quit football if they don't. No, they're not.
What they're going to do is all of those kids are going to go to wherever their head coach just got hired. Where did he get hired again? UCLA?
Yeah, I think so.
All those kids are going to go to UCLA, just like when Kurt Cignetti got hired at Indiana. All those James Madison kids went to Indiana and they became a good football team. They're not staying at JMU. They're, like I said, they're playing for a gateway into Power 4 football. Yeah. It is a developmental program. That's what it has become, and that's okay.
Yeah,
but don't sit here on a pine box and tell me that James Madison should be in over Notre Dame or BYU or Vanderbilt or Texas or Utah even. Like, go down the list. Anybody in the top 25 of the college football playoff rankings would beat James Madison by 2 or 3 scores. Any of them.
So, yeah, Temple, if you want to say the 7 best team, the teams at 7 are probably, there's a bigger line between 7 and 8 than you would expect. Yes. And that will always be in the playoffs. There'll be a line because I think there's also a big line between 4 and 5. So, like, I think there's a line between Texas Tech and Oregon. And I know Texas Tech hasn't played anybody, but they've looked really good. So I'm going to give them the benefit that they're in that top 4, and 5 down probably doesn't have a shot to win a title. Probably in top 4. But we thought that last year a lot, and all those teams were losing that got the buys. Well, actually, that was no, because it was conference champions last year. That's why it was weird. But look, I get it. I think an 8-team playoff is the way to go. I'm with that. We're very on the record. 8 teams is the way to go. But the reality of it is, I get the reason why you have the automatic bids. It's the same reason you tried to have the conference champions get a bye last year, and it didn't work. And they changed it because it didn't work. This doesn't work. You now say we're having 4 games in our first one, and there's 2 games. One of them you already seen this year.
And it was a 5-score blowout.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. 2 of them you've already seen this year.
Oh, yeah. Well, Alabama and Oklahoma. But in terms of the group of 5 thing, like, Tulane already had their shot to play a Power 4 team and make themselves a playoff case. And they got blown out. And that score was, like, Ole Miss left a lot on the bone in that game.
Yeah. And Harry, I know they're not going to 8. I'm saying that's the right answer. But it's not going there. I'm with you on that one.
Well, I mean, I think that Vandy and Texas deserve to be in it above James Madison. Probably Tulane. But so does Notre Dame and so does BYU.
Yeah. This is less about the SEC playing real teams. If your thought is it's just you can't lose and everyone should not play anybody, there should be no non-conference anymore, everyone should do it. If that's the thought, Temple, then fine. The SEC has no say to it. But if we think good wins matter, the SEC does have a lot of strength to schedule because there's a lot of good teams in it. It is what it is. I'm not saying that they need to be better or anybody else. The big problem, the big issue that we're looking at here is that it's really glaring when you say very inclusionary, thinking this will never happen. We'll have one group of 5 teams. Probably every 3 to 6 years, there will be a really good group of 5 team, and they'll be perfectly fine in there. In other years, it'll be okay, and we'll just have a couple years. But we're only getting one of them in, right? We'd never get 2 of them in. That's insane. No conference is going to eat themselves up so much that they get screwed out of a spot. And it happened in the second year of it. And so I think we will see a change because we saw the change of seeding happen in 1 year. So whether it goes to 16 or whether they just say, here's another guardrail on it. Here's a little extra piece on it, because at the end of the day, we realized this wasn't what we wanted. And you know who really didn't want it? The sponsors of those bowls. You know who's probably really pissed about this? Those companies who paid a lot of money to sponsor a bowl game. And they just got stuck with a massive blowout who is going to have 0 ratings. And when their guy walks out at the end to present the award, there's going to be just fans of the winning team watching. Nobody else.
I just got an alert on my phone.
Yes.
That ended up really letting me down because I saw breaking Auburn wide receiver And I was like, oh my God, Cam Coleman's entering the transfer portal, and it's Auburn wide receiver Horatio Fields.
Horatio, what are you doing to us?
But yes, I agree with Patrick. And Joe, I hope it's more of what Patrick is saying, and it's the 12-team playoff with added guardrails and tweaks that make it more, straight lined and streamlined and all that stuff, as opposed to switching to a 16-team playoff. But the bottom line is eventually it's going to switch to 16 because they just want more money for more games, and that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I do believe it'll be 12 again next year. I think they could alter it again next year, but you just can't do it. It's going to take a little bit more time. But yeah, I think it'll be 16 eventually. Whether that's in 2 years or 3 or whatever it is. I could see them all because, again, I will give them credit. They did alter it this last season. They saw that the automatic buys was a bad plan. Everybody saw it. Nobody liked it. I think now that James Madison and Tulane get in, it's probably a positive for the long term. And here, the dog, it won't stop at 16. It won't stop until college football is completely ruined. Don't worry. They're going to ruin it just like they're going to ruin March Madness.
Yeah. I just hope they make it another 50, 60 years before they ruin it so I don't have to see it before I die. It's probably not going to take that long, though.
10, 15 yards. I'm good to No, and I'm with you, Joe. How do you get everything on TV? Like, they're already having to put Alabama, Oklahoma on Friday nights. So it is difficult to put all those games. They'll find a way. Trust me, they will find a way.
And how about putting Texas A&M at 11 a.m. in a home playoff game? Like, I know everybody here hates the Aggies, but earning a home playoff game and then having to play it at 11 a.m. instead of making it a night game like almost every other home playoff game is going to be is not fair.
Well, yeah, considering it's probably the best game.
Like, it is the best game.
It's the most exciting game for me to watch because I haven't seen it already because Alabama, Oregon's the second best, but we've already seen it, and I feel like Alabama can win that game again. Or Alabama can win the game this time. Sorry, not the game, but this time I feel they can win this one. But maybe Oklahoma will win it again, and we'll just go, yeah, Oklahoma win it twice. Either way, I think that's a good game. But Miami in Texas A&M is what the playoffs where you're going, okay, let's see what these two teams can do. Can A&M rebound from their last game being the Texas game? Can Miami, come back and thinking they weren't going to get in and get all that stuff done? But putting 6:30 games, James Madison, Oregon, giving the night game to Oregon, and I get somewhat the concept of it's at Oregon, so it's a later place. So if you put it on earlier, then it's too early of a game because you can't give them the 11 a.m. game because an 11 a.m. game is a 9 a.m. game there.
That's what you get for playing football on the West Coast.
But you can give it even the 2:30 game really easy.
Yeah.
Like that's not hard. Give them the 2:30 game. It's a noon kickoff for them. They love noon kickoffs, what I hear.
Yes, they do.
So yes, but yeah, Miami and Texas A&M being an 11 a.m. game is crazy. Or put them on Friday night. Put them on that one.
Yeah, like we don't have to make this more complicated than it is.
Yeah. All right, let's take our first break here, Matt. We'll come back. We'll keep talking about a little bit more college football. If you guys got stuff you want to talk about in the college football, if you have solutions, real solutions, and I know, like, we keep saying 8. It's not going to be 8. So we're going to have that. Then we're going to come back. We'll get into that. We thought to talk some NFL as well. A lot of action. Texans, man. My Texans playing good football. Going into Arrowhead, Matt. Getting a big win last night on Sunday Night Football. We've got all that and a lot more to get into here in hour 2, and we'll keep you updated. We're keeping our nose to the grindstone here and seeing if we see any more names jump into the portal, any more big reports. We'll report those as they come along here when we get into hour 2 of Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
At Sleep Cycle Center, we can treat your sleep apnea in various ways. My story starts 15 years ago with the loss of my father to undiagnosed untreated sleep apnea. And this is a very preventable disease, and treatment options are various. Millions of people across America have sleep apnea, and they fail to realize the early warning signs. Fatigue, daytime sleepiness, and snoring are the most common signs. We'll find the best solution using advanced technology, oral and epigenetic appliances, or CPAP. We offer weight loss, oral surgery, and laser treatments. Schedule your appointment today and get your sleep evaluation.
If you're looking to remodel a kitchen, renovate your bathroom, or maybe add some new life to your outdoor space, reach out to our friends at McCall Custom Homes. They are custom home builders and renovators here in Central Texas, and they've been doing it in Central Texas for more than 40 years. It's a father-son team with a ton of experience, and all of that experience is here in the Austin area. So they know what it takes to turn an Austin area home into something truly, truly special. Right now, our friends at McCall Custom Homes are offering free estimates to TSU listeners so they can come out to your place, hear your vision, they can tell you what they can do, and then you can go from there. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com. Look at the gallery of jobs they've done over the last 4 decades. And then when you're ready, again, reach out to them and they will come to you. McCallCustomHomesATX.com, or you can call or text Mike McCall directly at 512-633-9580. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and all of us at Audiovisual would like to wish you and your family a happy holiday season. This time of year can get a little hectic, so we want to remind you to relax, enjoy the season with your family and friends, and give us a call at 512-255-8678 for all of your home entertainment needs. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, the music, the decorations, the presents, the whole darn thing. So this year I'm asking all you listeners to help make this a special holiday for everyone. Smiles are contagious and free, so let's give them away like the government gives away your money. Let's high-five strangers on the street, hold the door for people behind us, tip your servers more than they've ever been tipped before. Give to a charity, or hell, give to a bunch of charities. If someone does a good job, tell them they did a good job. Pat someone on the butt. Sing in public places just because it feels good. And as always, hug your kids until they beg you to stop. Watch some games with your friends and make love to your wife or your husband. I know there's some women listening too. You can still give us a call at 512-255-8678 if you'd like to get some cool electronics. But more importantly, have a great holiday season and a fucking awesome next year.
Welcome back to Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. Rolling in here to hour 2. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open. 512-222-9328 is the text line number. And if you want to hit us up there on the chat, you know how to do it. Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. We'll see you there as well. My man Chan on the text line says, to make this work, the college football playoffs must be only applicable to the group of 5 conferences. If so, set it up like the NFL or EPL. What say you? So I believe what you're saying, Chan, if I'm getting this right, it would be Power 4 is what you mean. They're not the group of 5. So if it's active that they have to move, that they can move up if they're good. Are you trying to bring in relegation? Or are you trying to bring in, I'm not sure what you meant there, Chan. You figure out if you're trying to bring in relegation for these smaller teams that can come up and build up, and not quite how money works, but let me know what you think there.
Well, relegation is a slippery slope regardless, because if Steve Sarkisian retires, for example, at some point in time, and Texas brings in another Charlie Strong and you go 5-7, then there's a chance you can get relegated to something else. So you don't want that to happen, I promise.
Yeah. I like this too, Joe. They could expand the college football playoff to 128 teams, and the 8 teams left out would protest. I agree with you. Hey, man, I know we don't have it, Bill O'Brien. I know we only got 1 win, but watch out. We're still a good team. We could win at least 1 game.
We're hitting our stride at the right time. You know, we got our 1 win in October, and ever since then, we've been playing really good football. We just haven't been able to beat anybody.
Good news, none of our players are going to opt out because none of them have any futures in football. So they're still going to play here. And yeah, I agree, CB. Stop making deals in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Wait, like I don't. The only reason I don't get it is what is Notre Dame going to do? Because it's not the Big Ten. It's not a conference. It's one school. So what would they do if the college football playoff said no?
I don't know.
I don't know what the flip side of that. Maybe they threatened a lawsuit to make themselves their own conference that they're the champions of every year, and that the rules are unfair because they're an independent, and in America you can't force people to be in. I don't know what they would do, but it does feel like the College Football Committee probably caved pretty easily when it feels like they basically called up Notre Dame. We're like, hey, so we're leaving you out, but we're gonna do this because we don't want to see the group of 5 teams in either, and we only put that in for BS. So we're gonna put it so you can knock them out if you get in. Because that's my assumption, is that they would be the 5th conference champion if they're in the top 12.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think that would be my guess, is Notre Dame gets to knock out the James Madison or Tulane if they're the. I don't know.
Honestly, like, it is unfair as that is. I'm fine with that if it keeps out James Madison.
No, Joe, the Pac-2 is not the Pac-2 anymore. They've added more teams to the Pac, right? Didn't they?
Yeah,
they haven't started yet, but it's next year or something like that.
They should call it the Pac State Conference, because it's like Texas State and Oregon State and Washington State and San Diego State and Boise State and a bunch of teams like that. Fresno State. I think.
Notre Dame brings in money, but they don't. I mean, they bring in more than Tulane or James Madison does, but their TV ratings are not as good as people would say they are. Like, they're not. If you look at the ratings every week, Fox and CBS or Fox and ESPN are always higher than theirs. And then NBC and Peacock come in later. And it just is what it is. And they're trying to put them more in streaming for some of these games now. So those ratings are garbage. So you got to pay for it.
Do you know, does anybody know where Notre Dame ranks in terms of the most watched teams in college football?
This year, I have no idea. I know it's not bad, but I know it's not
Give
bad.
me your guess.
I would say, because they're not in a conference, because they're on the other channel, I'd say around 35th.
No, they're not that low.
Okay, 25th.
In terms of the most watched teams in college football, they are 15th.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
They're behind Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, LSU, Tennessee, Auburn, who sucks, Michigan, who's not that great, Texas A&M, Florida, who is 4-8, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Florida State. Both of those teams are ass too.
No, I that's what I'm saying, is I could just believe it is, if you're not on ESPN and you're not on Fox, it becomes harder for people to see you and find you. So your ratings are going to be way down. So they bring in people, but it's just not like the actual thought of, hey, we have the best ratings is not true.
Yeah. And they're barely ahead of Vanderbilt and Missouri.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is SEC football gets ratings. Big Ten football gets ratings. ACC gets some, and Big 12 is the Big 12. But Notre Dame is just like, they're on their own channel. You have to go find it, or it's in Peacock and it's streaming, and those ratings are going to be, well, also they're kind of made up in streaming too. Like, it's a weird different thing. But yeah, it's
the most watched Big 12 game we've seen all season is probably Texas Tech BYU in the Big 12 championship. That would be my guess. I don't know that for sure. And that was one of the worst football games I've watched all season long.
It was not great. It was just funny because it started off and, they're really selling power BYU, and then BYU scores and you're like, okay, maybe. And then it was, all downhill from there. But yeah, we got to see that. Texas, though, going to play one more game, Matt. I know this is another discussion a lot of people get into, of the teams that opted out of their bowls. So Notre Dame, of course, said that, no, we're not doing that. We're not, if you're disrespecting us, we don't want to go give you ratings, which, again, we just pointed out they're 15th. So they're like, we're not giving you our ratings. They, trying to be a jerk about it or whatever else. I think it's a insane decision for a team that needs to get more reps, because, again, they are one of the worst slow starting teams in the country. Every single year they start out slow with Marcus Freeman, and then they build really good throughout the season. They're good at the end of the season. That's not how college football works, though. You have to win. Happened to Texas. We start out slow. It's the reason we're not in the playoffs. Played much better at the end of the season. So, like, you can't start slow and they keep doing it. It's like, well, play in a bowl game then. Go try and get those reps. Get your young guys ready to go for next season. Get your offensive line a little bit better. I know Texas needs to, and I'm glad Texas took the bowl game. You're playing against good competition. You're going to have a lot of guys, so a lot of names will not be out there. Your seniors, probably none of your seniors really playing, at least any of your seniors at Texas, most of your seniors are going to try and go pro anyway. So probably no DJ Campbell. Connor Robertson's a maybe. Ethan Burke's not going to be there. Anthony Hill's not going to be there. Michael Taft's not going to be there. Manny Muhammad's probably out.
I wouldn't be shocked if Michael Taft wants to play in the bowl game. I wouldn't. I would tell him. I would strongly advise him not to. But
yeah,
he just seems like the kind of guy that will.
Look, I could believe. Look, I'll say this. I think Michael Taft will be at the bowl game. I think Anthony Hill will be at the bowl game. I don't think Sark's going to tell them to. I think Sark is going to have the conversation with them. This is in the interest of Texas. Our best interest is you being a higher draft pick than you playing in this game. Helps us more for you to be a higher draft pick because that helps us in recruiting. So it does more for us for you to not possibly get hurt in a season where you have a broken hand that you need to get better now, that you've had some injuries that you need to heal up. You need to start also, like, those guys are like Anthony Hill, as of this week, is starting to do training for the combine. Like, that's very different training than go play a football game. I know it's silly, but you're practicing your 40-yard dash. You're practicing all these little different things they do at the combine and scouting and all, and in your private visits. They're practicing for pro day. They're practicing for those things now, right? Because it's different than getting your body ready to go take the type of punishment you put on your body in every game. And CB, I get it. Like, I don't think he would. I think he would walk into Sark's office and say, if you want me to be there, I'll be there. I want to play for this team to the end. And Sark will go, that's a dumb idea. I appreciate it. Be on the sideline, help coach our team from the sideline. But also, I need to get Jonah Williams some reps. Yeah. Because there's a chance he's our starting safety next year. So I need Jonah Williams to get some reps out there. I need Phil Simi to get out there. If Derek Williams is still on this team, I need him to get out there. Like, I need my young guys to play because you ain't going to be here next year. And this is much more about next year than it is this year. I know the 10 wins, you want to have them out there. I know you want to do it. But we saw Bijan Robinson is a perfect example of a dude who you would go, that dude character-wise would have played in the game, the Alamo Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. But it's stupid for him too.
Yeah, CB, I talked about that earlier. That's a ridiculous idea. He needs all the reps. All the reps. Yeah. No, Arch was really, really good in the second half of the season. But another game against a Power 4 opponent is exactly what he needs. He needs these 15 practices to get better. Yeah. He needs all of it.
I will say this is the argument for him not playing in the game. If you want to make the argument, our entire interior of our offensive line is probably not going to be there.
I bet Cole Hudson will play. He's probably not going pro.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure he's going to try.
If he's going to try, he needs to put a good game on tape against a good team. That's true. Like there are older players who need that for their NFL draft stock. Michael Taft isn't one of them.
I agree, CB. I agree. Free Bijan.
I'm telling you, Dallas Cowboys, trade your an extra first round pick and another draft pick and whatever you need to do to get Bijan.
That'd be scary there. Be scary there.
It would.
Yeah, no, I get the argument of, and this is like the whole thing of where we shouldn't play a bowl game unless we're in the playoffs, or we should opt out. And you're like, you're still worried about this season. Our season ended when we lost, when the committee didn't put us in the playoffs. That's the end of the 2025 season. Now, I get the win would count for this, or the loss counts on this season. I get that. But you are now looking at how can we get some of these guys who are going to have to play big minutes, like our linebackers. Talk about that linebacker core and how big this is for LaFau and how big this would be for Ty Anthony Smith and some of those guys to be able to get some more minutes without Anthony Hill on the field and without Trey Moore out there being the third, getting some younger guys out there to play linebacker. And Michigan's going to have the same thing. Michigan still has NFL talent on that team and has seniors that aren't going to play in this. So it's not like you're necessarily going up against a team. Like, it sucks when you're going up against somebody and all of their teams playing, but I feel like Michigan's going to have some people out of this game too.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan does have a good defense. They're ranked number 16 in scoring defense, number 13 against the run, number 53 against the pass, and number 21 in total defense. So they've got a solid defense. So it's going to be a good test for a lot of these players that play in this game.
Yeah, and Joe, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say it ended when the UGA trucked us, but here's the reality: that A&M game was big, and I know it doesn't matter really, but again, that one's big to have on your resume. Again, you beat A&M 2 years in a row now. It's big for the rivalry. It's big for recruiting because when you start talking about two teams that go back and forth and are both recruiting a lot of the same players and both have similar money. And both have a lot of things that are, both have good coaches who can do all that. Being able to go, we going to go losers? They lost twice now.
I mean, they can't beat us. That's the same reason that's the same thing you should say against Oklahoma. They can't beat us. Why would you go lose a game against us? You want to win? Come play for us.
Come play for us. And so I'm with you on those. That so I know what you mean, Joe. Because I was about to say it, but I'm like, you know what? The A&M game. The A&M game was it was still important. So, but yeah, now that we're out, it does put it into the world of I'm happy. Go play that game. And if you're gonna say, I'm with you, Arch Manning, you want him to get those reps. You want him to be out there. By the way, he's played so much better in the list. Also, you want him to get with some of these younger receivers he's going to be playing with next year. You want him to continue to build on that. Now, if we look at like a Ryan Wingo and we see how his hand actually is, Ryan Wingo's hand's not 100%, maybe you send him out, let him get ready for spring. You know what I mean? There's some guys that maybe have some nagging injuries that would play through the Arkansas and A&M game that we have to go back and look and say, well, what's their health at? Because you don't necessarily want to put a guy out there to get re-injured or put him behind schedule, because that was another problem early in this year that Wingo missed a lot of spring and Mosley missed a lot of spring. And so you didn't necessarily have that, and Moore missed some spring, and you just didn't have that connection between all of them. And, at the end of the day, you got to have those connections kind of getting built. And this is a great place to do it. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to take those next steps. I would expect Anthony Hill and Michael Taft to be on the sideline, possibly in their jerseys and street clothes with their jerseys, and repping the team and being there for their teammates, but not risking the injury, not risking derailing the next few weeks of training even. Because it's not even like, well, he's going to miss real time, but you roll your ankle or you come up a little limp on a play, and you're like, okay, well, now my knee's kind of messed up. My 40 time. Who was the player whose 40 time was down from Texas last year? Somebody ran it, and then we found out how bad they were hurt. Jake Majors, maybe?
I don't remember.
I remember there's somebody, I feel like, from Texas who was somewhat injured. Or maybe it was Majors who rolled his ankle right before the thing.
Might have been.
And then had to run it. And then they're like, yeah, that's why we so slow. But you have those sometimes those injuries, but they derail you 2 or 3 weeks of training. We know Michael Taft was invited to the Senior Bowl. I don't know if he's going to play in that. There's the Senior Bowl is another place that guys will go to.
Here's my argument for Arch playing in the game.
Yes.
I want everybody to go look at the year that Quinn Ewers had in 2022, where he was very up and down. Texas was 8-4 heading into the game. He's your future, kind of like Arch Manning. It's his first year as a starter. What's the point in playing in the game? Well, you come out against a good Washington team who's ranked number 12 in the country. You throw for 369 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty big. I think we can agree that that's pretty big. And then he comes out the next year with Texas, and he has an unbelievable season. 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The extra bowl practices and the bowl game against the good competition set him up for an excellent season the following year and helped him turn a corner he really needed to turn. And I think that the same thing can happen with Arch Manning this year.
I agree.
So then next year, when he's again being completely overglazed by the national media, now maybe there's some substance to it and he can live up to the hype because he's had that extra spring football and that extra game to get him ready for next season.
Yeah. And Chin is right on the text. It was Gunnar Helm. Scudderhelm who did that. Yeah, no, and and CB, that's why it's like a bunch of guys get those invites. They don't necessarily play in those either. You're right, CB. But yeah, I'm with you, man. The Arch needs those reps, and I get if you want to say the O-line's not really working, they're starting to blitz a little bit more. Maybe don't play him. If he's getting hit, play him a half. If you're sitting there going like, we're not getting anywhere right now. Then that is, if the O-line's going to be the problem, I understand that. But that's a game time. Hey, at halftime, it ain't working. And I don't want you to take 6 more sacks in the second half. But this reality, and it's a reload, not a rebuild. Reload. It's a reload, not a rebuild. And Temple or Brutus, Ryan Day's gone if y'all lose too. You can't keep coming in trying to be the negativity in here, Temple. I get Ohio State's good right now. They've been bad before. They'll be bad again one day.
Yeah, Ohio State almost fired Ryan Day because he lost to Michigan, and then they went and won a national championship. What do you think they're going to do if he misses the playoff and loses to Michigan next year?
But at the end of the day, I think it's it'll be a good piece. You'd want Arch to play. You want him to get that connection. You like him, like Khalid Lockett and Jamie French and those guys. If they're staying with Texas, you like them to get some reps out there and get Arch to feel a little bit better and get the ball out to those guys and get them to feel playing time. So you do want to see the young guys playing the game. I'm looking forward to it. Texas is an early 4.5-point favorite in that game. It's hard to bet on a game like this when we really don't know who's playing in it. Because for Michigan, Bryce Underwood technically could not play in this game because we've already heard Dave Portnoy say he's not ponying it up for his NIL next year. So look, not saying that's anything other than Dave Portnoy trying to get on TV and be who he is, but he did say, I'm not paying for him again because apparently he didn't win you a national championship in 1 year, and that's what we do now. We just throw people away like they're garbage. But the reality,
I got to say something real quick.
Yes.
I hate the way that this transfer portal news is breaking right now.
Yeah.
It's so obnoxious.
It's
every time On3 tweets a player entering the portal, they tag the agent. They're in cahoots with these agents to help get these kids money. And I get it. Like that's fine. Like I don't hold it against them for trying to help the kids get, agents get contacts or whatever. But like his agent at whatever tells Pete Nakos, like, just say he entered the portal.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, you know what? It's all those guys just trying to build those connections because then they want to get the exclusive and all this other stuff. And yeah, but at the end of the day, it is. But it's a portal. It is what it is. I mean, I think the bigger issue I have is when I click on a site and they go, like, the one that threw me off the most was that the story was Trey Owens is leaving Texas, and then they were like, and also CJ Baxter. And I was like, whoever wrote this does not follow Texas football. I don't know which one. We all knew Trey Owens was gone. That was not a surprise. The CJ Baxter one was a questionable one. We thought maybe could be it, but I'm also leaning with CJ Baxter because Trey Owens, when we first recruited him, was also a 3-star. Like, we made him a bigger star because Stark believed in him. So that signing, some people were not even happy. And then he had the one really big spring game where everyone was like, all right, Trey Owens is the next. And I still think Trey Owens has a lot of ability and potential. But just if I'm writing that article, the headline is CJ Baxter, not Trey Owens. Just me.
Yeah. And Temple of Brutus, I didn't say that. I didn't mean to say they almost fired him. What I meant to say was everybody wanted him fired.
Yes. There was a loud contingent of people who were going to his house and things.
There were people like with big platforms who are Ohio State fans saying the worst thing that could possibly happen for Ohio State football is winning a national championship because Ryan Day would keep his job.
That was true. That's a real true statement. Yeah, CB. Yeah, Melvin Hills was agency. It was also I get it. It is business now, and there's agencies, and that's what they get paid to do. I don't like it either, but it's what they get. Yeah,
the agency tweeting it out is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's On3 tweeting out, such and such enters the portal. His representation is at this and at that.
Yeah, like Longhorn Lubbock on the text line says, you never know when that next level switch will happen, but you can't hit it without reps in games. And that's for a lot of these young guys that didn't get as many reps because you were trying to win every game. This is the chance. So I'm big on that. I'm happy that Texas took it, did not take their ball and go home like some of these other teams. I understand there's times when you're like, well, we don't have a quarterback because our quarterback's not going to be there. We don't really have a backup yet. They're not in a position where Texas is, where we'd be thrilled to pay KJ Lacey. You'd be thrilled to put him out on the field a little bit. Some teams don't necessarily have that backup, and so they go, we don't have the right players. Too many guys are leaving. We don't know we're going to be in the portal, or we fired a coach and we got a new guy coming in. But like Baylor's got Dave Aranda. What is Baylor doing that they can't do this?
Baylor's just being Baylor. That's what they're doing.
Is it because they've got another scandal and they're like, guys, we got to hide this?
I don't know what it is, but there's some ridiculous theories out there.
Oh, it's with Baylor?
But at the end of the day, it's just Baylor being Baylor. I saw one thing. I don't know if I should say this on the air or not, but I saw one guy tweet out, like, I noticed that the college football playoff kept out all the faith-based schools. I stick with I'm on the side of Baylor. I'm like, what are we talking about?
Oh God, Baylor is not in the college football playoff. Come on, guys. That has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. I can promise you that it has nothing to do with it. But yeah, look, if they want to use that, let it be. But yeah, that feels like more like Baylor being Baylor and just going and kind of screwing over Dave Aranda and not letting him coach some young guys and get some more progression done. And maybe NIL people not wanting to pay for them to be in a bowl game and all of this other stuff. I don't know. Who knows what it is? But yeah, it's just silly that we see so many teams back out because they're upset with something. And Texas, which has every reason that they wanted to be really upset, they could be. And instead, they look forward realistically and say, that discussion's over. We're out. It's already happened. We can talk about next year now. But we can't talk about last year anymore because now it's done. So now we need to go play this game. We need to get Arch Manning ready to go. We need to get KJ Lacey. Maybe get him some reps in there. Get him a little bit more. See where he's at. We need to get some of our offensive linemen. Let Connor Stroh and Nick Brooks or whoever else get back out there and play some football. And try and figure out what we got there because those are big decisions that are going to come out in there. I mean, it's New Year's Eve, so it is before the portal still. So people who've already got in, but you could still then enter the portal after this game. You could play in this game and try and get your, I imagine you could see some young guys if they have a really good game. That would be the portal one. So maybe that's it. That they're worried about. They're doing like the spring game thing. We don't want to let any of our young guys out there because they're going to get poached for playing in this bowl game. That whole
possible, I guess.
But yeah. So we saw all that. Looking forward to that one. We do get Texas basketball tonight, Matt. If you're looking forward to that one, Texas versus Texas Southern, or just Southern. Sorry, not Texas Southern. I believe it's just Southern tonight. Is where we get the basketball game. It is. This is one that you just want to see Texas rebound and win by 40. You'd really prefer them not to be in it at half. You'd rather, Texas just be out of it by halftime. But this kind of is. This is the rebound of the last game you played. You had to apologize to your fan base. So now you would like to really just put on a show. I don't know how much tickets are for this. My assumption is you can get some pretty cheap ones still. Let me look on the app here real quick. See what we got for prices. Texas is a 21.5 point favorite in this game. And $5 tickets, cheapest tickets tonight. So if you want to go see Texas versus Southern tonight, you can go down and check that out. But yeah, I mean, this is not anything that you really. Southern's 4-4. They're just. There's not a ton you can really put in there against this Southern team. It's not like you just want to see your guys start to step back up and play a little bit better than they've been playing. They have some guys who can shoot the three. Don't let them kill you on threes. Hit your shots. Nothing too complicated tonight, man. These are the games that you're just supposed to win and get better in.
If I'm Sean Miller, I walk up to every single guy in that locker room individually tonight before the game, and I just say, hit your shots, kid. and then we walk out onto the floor.
Hit your shots. Hit your shots. This should be another one that we see also. Modest Foycatitis should have a good game as well.
Yeah.
Is that what we did to? Is that what we did to Miami? Or no, we didn't. We went to the Sweet 16 that year. Rodney Terry. But he was a terrible coach. We'll say. Looking forward to see some of it. It's not probably going to be not because here's two things that happen tonight. Either it's boring because you win by 45, or you're a Texas fan yelling at your screen like, "What are we doing?" There isn't really any middle ground in this. It can't be a good game.
If you win this game by less than 20 points and it's like a 10-point game with 2 minutes to go, there should be a real concern.
There should be. I don't know. Maybe I'll look for some props on that one. Maybe I'll some fun on that one. Look, you gotta have a reason. You gotta care for something when you're watching these games. When it's like, look, I can watch it. I'm gonna watch the team. But yeah, there's some lower level talent right here, and then you get that UConn game, which, yikes. Would like to get a nice win going in that one. Yeah, 21.5 right now, Joe. So that's you should cover that one. Look, in all reality, I'd like to be covering that at half. After that game, like normally I would just go, yeah, 21.5 is good. You win by that. After what you did against Virginia, I would like to see them play mad. I don't know if they will or not. I'd like to see them play mad tonight. Now, who we did see play mad this weekend, though, how about my Houston Texans there? How about the Houston Texans coming up big, getting another win, Matt, against the Chiefs team in Kansas City, a game where they really were able to pressure Pat Mahomes and knock him out of his element, come after them. And I get, like, they're a beat-up offensive line. This hasn't been the same team. But to wrangle them down, keep them to 10 points all in the third quarter. That third quarter was a little dicey because you feel pretty good. You're up 10-0 going into halftime. You hold them off on a score. You were trying to get something going there at the end, but they missed that field goal, and you're like, all right, we're good. We're shutting them out at halftime. One of the only times they've been shut out. They're like one of the only 2 or 3 times they've been shut out in the Andy Reid era. It's like since Pat Mahomes. So we see that. Then third quarter, they respond 3-and-out for Texas. The offense starts to stutter a little bit more. The defense starts to get beat up, and then Texas comes back, and the Texans come back and get the big win at the end. This Texans defense is legit. This is a really good Texans defense, and we're starting to see C.J. Stroud make some more plays. Now, he's still not playing great football because the O-line's still not great. Woody Marks has taken over. We saw him 26 carries for 68 yards. He has a reception for a touchdown as well in the game where it was a really good play where C.J. Stroud kind of saw the blitz coming and got out and got after it. But Kansas City was just blitzing a ton at a certain point because the offensive line, you could be able to get to it. And C.J. Stroud was just getting the ball out and finding his guys. It worked at points. It didn't work. Stroud's going to have to continue to get better if they're going to want to actually compete in the playoffs. But right now, this is a Texans team, Matt, that you feel the defense might be able to carry them to that. The Cardinals, Raiders are your next 2 games. So you'd hope to, at that point, be 10-5. And then you play the Chargers and LA and a Colts team with Daniel Jones out with an Achilles injury now. It feels
you should run the table the rest of the way.
You're really hoping that you, at worst, are an 11-win team now.
Yep.
And that Chargers game snags you up before. But if you're an 11-win team, now the question is, what does Jacksonville do? Because Jacksonville beats the Colts, and because, again, the Daniel Jones injury doesn't help. Riley Leonard comes in for Indy. But now they're in a position where we have to see what the Jags do. Because now Texas already played them twice, but they have the Jets. They have the Broncos, Colts, and Titans. So really, if you're the Texans, you got to win out because that should be 3 more wins for the Jags. If they beat the Broncos, they win out. They win the division. but you may have a shot to go into it. I don't know what the tiebreakers would be between the two of them. I think it goes to division record, which would be about even again.
I'd have to look it up. I'm not
I'd
sure.
have to go down and look all of them, but at the end of the day, the AFC South turning out, it does not look like the Colts are going to be doing much now because of the injury to Daniel Jones. Indiana Jones officially come to an end for this season, at least. Probably maybe most of next season. We don't know. His Achilles injuries are bad.
It's really unfortunate because I was kind of pulling for the Colts just because it's a good story, and Daniel Jones making a comeback was a good story, but seems like their season is over. What really makes me happy about that Texans game, though, Patrick, more than anything else, is that is the worst game I have ever seen Patrick Mahomes play in an NFL uniform. 14 of 33, 3 picks, 19.7 QBR, 19.8 rating. Inject it into my veins. I love it.
I'm telling you, that defense is scary, man.
It's good.
What was somebody I saw someone post? Jalen Petrie comes down and lays the boom on a guy real hard and then starts stunting on him, and everyone's like, dude, if you're doing that with a Guardian cap on, but Petrie been out with a concussion for the last like 2 or 3 weeks. So that was the reason why he's wearing that one. Yeah, Mahomes and Dak. You can't say me. When you say Patrick, I think you're talking about me going fishing. I don't know. Yeah, and Riley got hurt as well in that game, so I don't know what they're going to do. Because Anthony Richardson's pretty much checked out. So I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, Riley Leonard also got hurt in that game. Not great for them. I didn't hear what his injury was though.
I didn't hear either. I bet they would have liked to have Quinn Ewers though instead of Riley Leonard.
Oh, I bet they would. I mean, well, then they could bench him and they would win.
It's the key to everything, Patrick. Bench Quinn Ewers.
By the way, do you know who the Kansas City Chiefs have the same record as right now?
The Miami Dolphins.
The Miami Dolphins. Get the Fire Andy Reid shirts ready.
Oh God, the crumbling of the Chiefs dynasty is the best thing that has happened to me all year, Patrick.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they like the Chiefs now are really interesting in this offseason because if Kelsey does retire, then you're like, okay, well, what do we do now? Because we've really built this whole thing around 3 to 4 players. And one of them's gone now. And so, yeah, I mean, Rashee Rice, they look good, but then like everyone in the Chiefs kind of got beat up throughout that game. And you could just tell the Texan style of defense really wears on you as the game goes on. You're just constantly getting hit, constantly getting pushed around. Kelsey was complaining to the refs the whole game, shockingly, that he was being that Texans were being too physical. It's
football.
It's football.
What are we doing?
But it's the Chiefs.
When you date Taylor Swift, you get a little soft.
when you're dancing on stage, ready for that next career. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it was a huge game for the Texans to get that win because now you said you beat the Bills, you beat the Chiefs. Some of these games that you were really worried about going into this stretch, you've now got the W's in, and you can look ahead and go, now don't get tripped up. Now continue going. But it falls into that world. Defense travels better than offense sometimes. So even when this offense is going to have its struggles, the defense can continue to put you into games where you're allowing under 10 and under. You're going to get a lot of wins. And that's the way to go with it. We did also see over the weekend in the NFL some different paths that the Seahawks, of course, beat the Falcons. We saw the Bills and Bengals battle it out, but Joe Burrow's 284 and 4 touchdowns couldn't get it done. Still get the win there. Shedeur Sanders could not beat the Titans, but gets the job for the rest of the season. Which, by the way, it's so funny because everyone's like, man, Shedeur got named the quarterback for the rest of the season. You go, you know what's funny? That got done the day, like 2 days after Deshaun Watson came back to practice. We're like, yeah, all right, Shedeur. Look, man, we're talking lesser 2 evils on this one. We will take Shedeur Sanders at this point over putting Deshaun Watson back in the game.
Well, oh, sorry, Texas A&M just got to commit. Shedeur Sanders is getting absolutely blown up on social media for being amazing, right? He completed 54% of his passes.
But he's getting blown up by instigators. Like he's getting blown up like Dov and all those people that are literally just doing it for clicks.
118 of those yards came in 2 passes to 2 players.
Yeah. No, but it's literally, you know what the deal is. Like when I go see that and then my heart, you know, my blood rate goes, my blood pressure goes up, and then I go, oh yeah, they're just doing this to make you mad because nobody thinks that. Now Cam Newton may, but a lot of these guys, it's literally just, oh, we know this will get everybody mad, so we're gonna go full off on getting everybody mad, and then I get engagement, and then engagement's what everybody wants.
Or like Emmanuel Acho using his computer to do film review, like holding his phone up to the computer and then hitting the space bar and slamming the screen with his finger and say, this is the best thing you'll see from Shedeur Sanders all year long. And he completes like a 15-yard slant.
We also, the Steelers coming back, getting a big win over the Ravens, 27-22, meant the Ravens felt like they were kind of on the path back to being the division champion, but this might be the end of the road. That this is a season, man. If I would have told you before, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes may all miss the playoffs, he would have said you're crazy. Not all 3 of them miss the playoffs. 3 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL are going to miss the playoffs. Josh Allen won't. Josh Allen's fine. He's going to keep winning games. But all 3 of those guys are likely to miss the playoffs now.
And then the best quarterback in the NFL has got his team at the top of his division.
Aaron Rodgers?
Matthew Stafford.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you meant Aaron Rodgers.
Worst quarterback in the NFL.
And the Broncos, of course, get another 1-score win over the dude. You can't even beat the Raiders more than 1 score.
They keep winning though, man. I don't get it, but they keep doing it. They're the Chiefs from last year.
They are, and it's frustrating to watch because you're just be better. Then you're an 11-win team. Be better. And then probably the biggest game, one of the other big games, is the Packers and the Bears. That was huge in that division. The Packers do come back and win that game. Some bad decisions made there. Caleb Williams needs to kind of just still grow up in that. Jordan Love played a little bit better in that game of just at least decision making. But that's a really, really big one. And then Matt LaFleur at the end of the game came on to make sure to complain about everybody not calling holds on Micah Parsons. It's like, he's being held every play. You're like, all right, he is. It's true.
Yeah. So is Colin Simmons.
Yeah. Like, so is most great edges are getting held at some point. And until they throw their arms up in the air and get that picture of a guy really just arm out, like kind of falling over, you're usually not going to get that call anymore.
Yep. I hate when head coaches complain about that stuff. It's like, well, especially you have one of the best edge rushers in the league. He is going to get held on every play. You know they're not going to call it on every play, or else the game is going to be 17 hours long. Deal with it.
And Joe, you're right. The Rooney's playing to fire Mike Tomlin. He won't die. He is the cockroach of the NFL at this point. That he is just every time you're like, I'm pretty sure he's dead in the corner. You shine a flashlight on him. And you're like, he's not moving. And then you go over to like pick him up to throw him out. And he scurries across the room. You're like, that's Mike Tomlin keeps doing that every year in Pittsburgh. You're like, no, that's it, guys. Mike Tomlin officially is going to miss it, and he's going to miss the playoffs, and they're going to give him a reason to let him go and move in a new. Nope, he's all right. They're going to win their division. All right, we can't fire him again. Got to keep him for another year. Yeah, that's a huge win for them. Steelers over the Ravens is going to be a big one. All right, Matt, let's take our second break real quick. We'll come back, wrap it up here on a Monday afternoon edition of Open Gym. here on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Hayden Covert. Welcome to Covert Buick GMC of Bee Cave, your home in the Hill Country for new and pre-owned Buick and GMC vehicles. With beautiful inventory arriving daily, including the GMC Yukon, Sierra 1500, and Buick Enclave, you'll be certain to find the perfect vehicle at an incredible deal. Our service department is also open for all your vehicle maintenance needs. Visit us today for a test drive. Covert, born and raised in Austin. We are professional grade.
Altstadt Beer, the best beer that you can find all throughout the great state of Texas. Y'all know I've been a fan of Altstadt for years now, and if you try it, I think you will be too. If you've already tried it, you know exactly what I am talking about. Altstadt is brewed locally in Fredericksburg, but available all over the state of Texas. So if you're tuned in Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, it does not matter. You can find Altstadt at a local grocery store or liquor store. They've got a bunch of different brews, something for every beer drinker out there. The lager, the Kolsch, those are their two flagship beers, both award winners. They are fantastic. The Altstadt Light sacrifices on calories but does not sacrifice on the taste. They've got great pills, tons of great seasonals as well. I'm telling you, one sip and you won't go back to the other beers you've been drinking in the past. It is the official beer of BK. It should be the official beer of you as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Hey y'all, I'm Camille McKay.
And I'm Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations.
The old man and I are here to give you your summer weather forecast. It's hot.
That's right, kid.
Which means it's time for pool parties, grilling burgers, and taking a beach vacation, right?
Well, I don't know about a vacation, but Audiovisual brings more heat than any tropical destination.
It was worth a shot. I'll settle for some outdoor speakers.
You know, Audiovisual can do a lot more than that. We provide outdoor video screens, audio systems, landscape lighting, even solar shades for your patio to keep the Texas heat at bay.
Well, I'm sold. Let's wrap this up. I'm ready to lounge on a floaty and listen to some smooth jazz.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but some smooth reggae is the way to go this summer.
Good thing we can listen to both with the Sonos sound system. I call dibs on the floaty, though. Peace out.
Kid, wait a second. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us at avconsultations.com. That's 512-255-8678.
All right, back here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Wrapping it up here on a Monday afternoon. It is we're ready to go here in the postseason for football. Matt, if you had to look at the college football playoff right now, do you have a different opinion of who your national champion would have been before championship week, or do you still feel Ole Miss wins hands down, no problem?
In terms of winning the national championship?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, they got a really tough path, so I'm probably going to say no. My top four, I think, for the playoff this year, and who I thought was going to make the Final Four. Well, I'll give you my top six. I'm pretty sure it was Texas, Clemson, Penn State, Ohio State, LSU, and like Oregon. I got two of those.
You got two. Two of them are not bowl eligible, I believe, but you got two of them. Yeah, we may have had some misses in those. We may have had some misses in those. So maybe we're the meathead of the day for that one.
Perhaps.
The Notre Dame AD, probably a meathead of the day for going and complaining a whole bunch today after it's already been said and done, and then not doing a bowl game and really having an emotional reaction. When you knew this could happen, like you were fully aware, man, we lost two games. Only like the two best opponents we play, we lost to both of them. So maybe we shouldn't be in there. And we lost to one of the schools right next to us, and maybe we shouldn't be in there. But that guy. At the end of the day, we get to our real meathead of the day, and John Calipari. And this is a new trend that I've noticed of the old college basketball coaches, which is wait till your team isn't the same thing that everybody else is doing. Like when you're behind a trend, and then go on to be like, this is what's ruining college basketball. This is the thing now because we aren't it. And this is John Calipari on it. It is funny, him talking about the problems with college basketball now.
I mean, there are a lot of older gentlemen with beards playing basketball in college right now. There are. So you know, the one that's crazy is the guy comes in and he's waving to his kids up in the seats. And you're like, wait a minute, the guy got 2 kids. He's still playing college basketball. Crazy thing, he's using NIL for his first wife's alimony. And now he's still playing college basketball. Are we nuts? So now you have these kind of games and these kind of scores. That team is really old. My guess is, again, we're probably the youngest team in the SEC. We'll be one of the 3 youngest teams in the SEC. Those teams are old. Last year, every team was old in our league. They were old. And so now you're going to have those kind of things. And you're also going to have a team like a Fresno beat somebody because they got all grad students, seniors, and their average age is 25. And your average age is 19 or 20.
So this, I believe, is after he beat Fresno State 82-58. Saying the problem is these guys are too old. And Fresno State will just be a bad basketball team, and they are older. But they're not better. They're not like, you're still not getting the best players. But he had to go out and have the point that these guys are too old. They're too old, Matt. The problem. You're like, yeah, there's money in the sport now. So they're even, look, I believe that you shouldn't have 5th, 6th year guys. I don't know that, you know, guys playing pro before they come over is necessarily the best thing in the world, but it's going to be there. But John Calipari, you paid players for years under the table. You don't get to say what is real and not real in college sports. You cheated for so many years at Kentucky. And that's why you were really good. And now everyone can pay, and your team's not quite as good. Still a good coach. They're still number 17 in the country. They've lost 2 games, both to ranked teams. Like, they're not the end of the world, but man, to go out there and he's paying alimony to his first wife and he's waving to his kids in the crowd. And you're like, okay, I get it. I get that you're unhappy about this, but you also whooped Fresno. Like, you killed him. Why is this such a problem? You have younger players because you're getting better players.
Yep. Look, I don't have any respect for John Calipari anyway, because I think he's one of the slimiest coaches in the history of college basketball. But like, we're complaining just to complain now.
Yeah.
I get we don't want 7-8 year players in the thing anymore, but just because your structure that you were so successful with Kentucky was so good for a while, and now it isn't that way anymore, doesn't mean that you have to, you know, come out here and say all these terrible things about guys who are just trying to continue to play basketball and earn a little bit of money via NIL so that they can have a life.
Yeah. No, it's always that reality of, no, I want it to only be fair for me and not fair for anybody else, but fair for me. And I want to be able to cheat at basketball and keep my job and have everything and be a coach until, like, if John Calipari, how old do you think John Calipari is?
I don't know, 60.
Well, we should tell
70.
him he's 66 years old. John, that's too old to be coaching, man. Now, some of these guys are out there coaching. Their grandkids are playing basketball too. That's crazy, John. I get it. I get that the rules are changing. They're changing, and these are being voted on by the NCAA. You can get mad at that. To get mad at something that you clearly broke the rules at for so long and stack the system against everybody else, and then to come back and go, it's not fair that I can't be a national champion because other people are trying to find a way to get somebody on their team when I'm going in and now I'm at Arkansas and we're offering all these 18, 19-year-old kids, you know, $1 million, $2 million to come play for us. So they have no talent pool to draw from anymore. So they're getting some older guys so they can compete. Not fair. That's not fair. And yeah, Joe, they did used to complain about BYU too, going on their mission trips. They're 2 years older than us. They're grown men. Like, and they're not as good as you. Go beat them. Not that hard. I get it. That's our meathead of the day. We got to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Keep talking more Texas football. We'll recap the Texas basketball game and get into a lot more. But until then, be kind, be safe, keep your underwear clean, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow for more from Open Joe.